I'm hitting the button. We're going live.
Hell
Fuck
yeah.
it. We'll do it live.
I think you're allowed to curse in the first couple seconds now. So
Yes. Well, we don't. Yeah, we don't monetize anyway. So who
oh,
cares?
yeah, we do. What are you talking about? We just don't monetize while we're currently live.
Ah, gotcha. All right.
I
Well,
monetize them after because I don't want people to have to sit through ads while we're like actually live. That just seems rude.
yeah. That's uncalled for.
It's uncalled for. Yeah, what's that about? Especially if they're gonna miss valuable banter or whatever it is we do here. Hello, fine people in the chat. How's it going? Hope you're having a good Sunday. Welcome. We're continuing with the Disney arc. We're talking about another classic 2D animated Disney film, 101 Dalmatians. Woo! We're in the 60s now, baby.
Yeah, things
The
are getting
groovy
groovy.
60s. Oh yeah.
The
And
acid
it
has started to drop.
it feels like the 60s. I feel like there's an interesting stylistic change that happens here. I've already got some great comments in the chat. Bisected Tuscan Raider Child. Thank you very much, by the way. Love your name. Keep up the good work. Says, I tried to super chat this, but my account is Australia based. So I'll super chat the next one. I don't understand what that means. Can Australian people
maybe
not
Australian people are all grounded. They've
I don't
been
understand
very
what that
naughty
means,
boys.
but I appreciate the thought. Thanks for showing us. And yes, and the one I really wanted to highlight is from Defrosted Robot 77, who points out correctly and brought this to my attention. I had no idea this was true. This is actually the 101th video on our channel. Isn't that exciting? What a strange coincidence.
Yeah, that is.
That this is
no, it's not a coincidence.
video.
We planned that. That
No,
is
we
totally
didn't.
planned.
Don't lie to them.
We are the
right?
masterminds of the YouTube algorithm. Clearly.
Clearly, yes. No, that we didn't plan that at all. And what a strange and wonderful coincidence.
Yes, glad to be here with you, fine chatters, for our 101st video to discuss the 101st Dalmatian platoon.
So this is the first 60s film for Disney, and it feels like it. I feel like you can notice a distinct change in the art style, as I mentioned. There's an interesting use of color, like for example, later when we're with Jasper and Horace in that like rundown DeVille mansion, there's like blues and purples and oranges. It's like a rather strange combination of colors, but it really works. And then I think the biggest giveaway that we're in the 60s is the opening title sequence, which you can tell they saw the work Saul Bass was doing, and they're like, "Oh,
hell yeah,
we need to step up our game a little bit." This is probably the grooviest and coolest title sequence we've seen so far in any 2D animated Disney film. I don't know if you'd agree with that. I think it's pretty clear.
Oh no, I would say this is by far the most 60s of the bunch at this point.
I think it's just the most inventive
Yeah.
and like energetic and unique. I mean, all the ones we've seen in the past have been nice. They've been lovely.
Most of them are title cards, essentially, right? Like there hasn't really been one that's like a full-on animated title sequence, which that kind of sets the bar, for Disney movies moving forward, right? Like you think about the Monsters Inc. title sequence, right? Like that doesn't exist without something like this kind of paving the way, right? So
yeah. Oh, absolutely. And the music, there's a musical change that happens in this movie as well. We don't really have as much of that like lush old school Disney choir. We're a bit jazzier now. We're entering the jazz age for Disney.
Yes, very much. I mean, one of the biggest changes. So I didn't read the book for this one. Didn't really feel like doing that this time around. But I listened to the first couple seconds or minutes of the audiobook, which is available on YouTube. And turns out they decided deliberately to change Roger's character from being or into a musician, sort of struggling jazzy piano jingle composer. They changed him into that from a mathematician who had, and this is a direct quote from the book, solved the national debt. And so he had been granted a freedom from paying income tax for the rest of his life.
What?
That is Roger's backstory in the book, is that he's just
He solved the national debt forever.
forever. He
He just
erased the national
solved it.
debt completely, solved it. He fixed it. He was a wizard with math, and he just was like, "Hey, wait a minute."
I don't know. I don't know if that's how that works, but okay.
He was like, "Hey, guys, what if we just like weren't in debt?" And the British had never considered this before. So they threw him a parade, and they basically said like, "Good show, old chap. No more income tax for you."
Wow. What a deal.
What a dude. He's living the dream. He's also living in the house is just lent to him by the government. They bought him a house, and they said no income tax for the rest of your life.
Because he moved some numbers around and solved
the books
the debt forever. That's amazing. I love that. I like it better in in the movie, I would say.
Yes, I think it's far more of a relatable thing, that he's just kind of like a wholesome, good, struggling musician who's got a solid work ethic and does his best, to get it.
He's an interesting character because, he seems like a really nice guy. One of my favorite moments is when he first tries to stand up to Cruella, and he's like stammering his way through it because he's got that sort of like I don't know, like British politeness thing where he's trying to be firm.
We call that autism.
He's Tylenol maxing.
101 capsules of Tylenol.
101 Dalmatians, as you just mentioned, is based on a book. We didn't read it, so stop asking
reading
about
is for
it.
Squares.
Yes. No, I really like this movie. I will just jump straight into it. I think this movie is incredibly charming and, rather perilous, I would say, for a kid's movie, a children's film.
Oh, hell yeah.
And in a really good way. It's really compelling and makes the reunion at the end far more satisfying, considering all they have to go through in this movie. My one big criticism is that 101 Dalmatians, that's too many.
There's too many. Too many Dalmatians.
That's just too many.
He gets one. It is very musician-like, though, that he has one big hit on the radio, and he thinks he can afford to be this level of esoteric and quirky, to just have like 100. His thing is like, I'm just gonna have 101 fucking dogs running around this house, like.
Mr. Redhead asks, do you think Spike Lee hates this movie because all the Dalmatians wore blackface to escape evil Cruella? It wouldn't surprise me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if he's that thick-headed. And someone mentioned it. I can't remember who now. But yes, the face of the little baby Dalmatian underneath his stool is my favorite one.
Yeah.
It's absolutely great. I love that face so much. Anyway,
he's making sure the audience is enjoying it. Like, you like this? You good time? You had a good time? All right, good to hear. So you are not alone, Jamie, in your response to this movie. This one was a massive box office success for Disney. Huge,
understandable.
Yeah, huge numbers. It had a total budget of between 3.6 and 4 million. Its original domestic theatrical run, it hit 14 million, and over its entire lifetime, it has hit $303 million.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of millions.
That's a lot of millions. $303 million.
This is a great little movie.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of it. It's very charming. First of all, just want a quick shout out to my boy Pongo. Pongo, he's a real one. He's got to be like one of the best characters in any of these Disney movies. I love Pongo. He's great. He's like, first of all, the animation and the styling and the character design for Pongo is just adorable. Like, yes. He has like,
I love it,
the cutest little dog smile ever. It's great, and he's very sort of heroic, and I like that about him. A lot of likable characters in this movie. One of the better villains of early Disney, or maybe all Disney, frankly. Cruella Deville is fantastic. She's like full on psychotic, which I really
Yeah,
appreciate.
well, yeah. I mean, although I do wish, Jamie, that they would have gotten more into the backstory of why
Yeah,
Cruella
how did
is
she
so
end up this
psychotic,
way? Why
and
does she hate
why does she
Dalmatians so
hate
much?
dogs so much?
Yeah,
I'd
maybe
really like to
like
know, like, where are her
just type.
parents? Yeah.
You know that like news report meme where the guy's like talking to this kid and he's like, "Oh, what's your favorite part of the festival?" Like, wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy? You know that one? You don't know what I'm talking about?
No, I can't.
Okay, well, the news reporter is talking to this child and he asks him a question, and the child says, "Wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy?" And then the guy goes, "Where are your parents?" It's funny. It's good. Classic memes. Anyway, yeah, what happened to Cruella's parents, to
Yeah.
make her into the the
Into the
person we see
devil
today?
woman that she is, the dog terror, the Satan of pups.
Like, hypothetically, if Dalmatians murdered her parents.
Then maybe that would justify all her
Yeah,
actions,
maybe
actually.
she's actually just misunderstood,
Yeah, who
just
knows?
hypothetically.
Yeah, I do wonder how they'll tackle that in any potential sequels or prequels. We'll see.
But
That's
yes, really, really fun, likable characters. A lot of like, there's maybe a little bit less music in this than some other Disney movies we've watched in this arc so far, but the few songs that we do have are quite good. Cruella Deville is a
that's a
great
banger.
song. There's another one too. I just can't remember the name of. They play it a couple times. It's really nice. I guess it's like a main theme of the movie. I can't remember if it has words or not. But there's a whole sort of host of little quirky side characters. Like when they do the Twilight Bark, we get to see all
Yes.
those other dogs, especially the dog, and the horse, and the cat, whose names are escaping me at the moment, who like act like old school military men.
Yeah,
They're
I
super
love that.
fun
That's so
and
much
charming.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, the sort of like Cockney thieves. They're sort of fun and charming, and like there's just so much to like about this movie. I think the art style is pretty brilliant. It's very energetic. I think the dog, I mean, Disney from the very beginning has been probably the best ever at like cute animal animation, and it's still absolutely S tier, I would say, in this movie. Like they're so expressive, all these dogs, and the way they design them and their faces and stuff like that. So like they can be like maximally expressive. It's really, really impressive. And yeah, this is an unbelievably good movie. I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan of it. Hugh, what do you think of 101 Dalmatians?
I love this movie. I think it has to be one of the most nostalgic experiences for me rewatching
Oh
this
yeah,
one, just because of the way, like, that sort of pencil sketch style of the backgrounds in this movie really, for some reason, just kind of feels very homey to me. I think probably because I watched this a lot when I was a kid. Um, so there's just it's such a unique thing, especially now. Like, we're getting into the part of Disney where this is like really going to become the norm, right? And I'm very excited for this because this is kind of them setting new trends and doing some experimental things, but keeping it in line with these like really traditional type hero stories like this one.
yeah.
And I think it's a perfect, it's hitting its perfect stride between like trying new and interesting techniques and keeping it, grounded, right?
Like,
they still have to
like,
make money, but they want to do cool shit with it.
yeah,
So I think this has got to be the start of probably my favorite era in Disney. Really, is when we
interesting.
start getting into this 60s animation type stuff. Um,
Supergirl's boyfriend says, "Hello, movie people." Hello, indeed, fine movie people in the chat. Mr. Redhead says the only downside to this movie's success is a lot of people bought Dalmatians after and then abandoned them because they didn't act like they do in the movie. That is
yeah,
unfortunate.
that's a
However,
tragedy.
not the movie's fault, I would say,
Yeah.
in the same way that I don't really hold Jaws responsible for the fact that people have a misunderstanding of what sharks are like now. Like, Jaws is still an incredible movie, and I wouldn't want them to change any part of Jaws to make it more realistic just for
for the sake of
people's
for the sake
perceptions
of the
of
shark.
sharks,
Yeah,
the
people's
shark
reaction.
community. Well, if everyone else, all these other groups are communities, I suppose the sharks are a community as well. Darkington Face, thank you very much for the super chat. Says, "Cruel devil did nothing wrong. She experienced trauma." Yes, hurt people hurt people. I learned that from Van Jones. So,
Yes. Yeah. It was socioeconomic factors that forced her into this.
uh,
Oh God.
Cruella de Vil, though, like first of all, what an incredible name.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Like
I mean, yeah.
it's so fun. What a great character design as well. Okay, so first of all, obviously with the Dalmatians, we have a lot of black and white imagery in the movie, unsurprisingly, but Cruella de Vil's like stark half black, half white hair as like it's just such a great design choice for this movie. There's so many great things about like the way we use color in this movie. For example, every time she's smoking that like long fancy cigarette, the smoke she blows out is green. You know what I mean? It's sickly, it's poisonous. There's a lot of times where like especially in lower lighting, her eyes and some of the like Jasper and Horse's eyes, they're like yellow, so they're kind of sickly looking as well. One of my favorite design choices in the movie. Let's see if I can find a picture of it for the people in the chat who have not seen this movie in a while. Is her car has like evil headlights, eyes
Yeah.
that are like angry.
Real quick, Georgius Rex said also that he thought the backgrounds were a step down after Sleeping Beauty. I can see why you would think that. For me it's because it's a little bit it's going for a different vibe, right? Like Sleeping Beauty is attempting to sort of replicate that medieval tapestry look.
Yes.
Whereas this one is trying to be more of like a chic modern London, like city living kind of atmosphere. Yeah. And I think the way that they make things a little more minimal, and they kind of do some they take creative liberties with the color shading. I've actually got let me take a screenshot of this real quick, and I can show you some of what I mean for the background of that. But the way that they use creative color shading in the backgrounds and everything, I think that really helps to get across that sort of modern mod 60s kind of thing that they're looking to do. And I
think the short
that.
version is that the backgrounds in this movie serve the story very well, as do the backgrounds in Sleeping Beauty. Fundamentally, I think the art style, they've shown Disney in general, Disney Animation Studios have shown a remarkable ability to adapt a style to the story that they're telling in a way that still feels like Disney the whole time. At least through like while Disney was still alive.
Yeah.
It changes a bit after that. Like I think the 90s Disney movies, I mean, they look incredible, but I do think there's probably a bigger departure there.
They get a little samey, especially towards
a little bit,
the end.
But yes, you're showing on screen right now is her car's evil, angry eyes, which I think is
and it's like upside down fangs too, right? Like that license plate holder area in the grill in the front is like it looks devilish and evil, really well.
So great name, great design. Someone mentioned, where is it? Yeah, Zaz85 says the tiny angular woman under this giant coat is such a good contrast. Absolutely it is, because she's this giant fur coat that makes her look like this big, I don't know, kind of hulking thing. But underneath it, she's very skinny, like rail thin. Oh, it's great.
Yeah, and then there's an example of what I mean. So that you can see in the background there, they kind of sketched out that neighboring townhouse in the back, but the window is there's color on the window, but it's like a square, a rectangle, and it doesn't exactly conform to what it is that you're seeing necessarily, right? Like it's different from the rest of the building. There's a little bit of shading and everything, but that just gives it this really like mid-century kind of vibe that I think works very, very well for this. Like, this is the
Oh
kind of
yeah.
thing that you would have expected to see in a modern art museum back when, we were making modern art that was actually kind of unique and interesting and not just a banana taped to a wall, you know? Like,
Yeah, I would say that, like, if I'm just looking at it, quote unquote, objectively, that is like outside of the story itself and like what it's actually being used to do as a function of the story, and just looking at the art style of this compared to something like Sleeping Beauty or Lady and the Tramp or any of these other movies, I think this is not my favorite just to look at in terms of these backgrounds, in terms of
yeah,
these
it doesn't have
the
like the
landscapes.
full depth of like artistic creativity, like
Yeah, I
but
think, like, Cinderella might be kind of top of that list for
yeah,
me,
that's true.
but it still looks really lovely, and I think it serves the story and the feel and the time period very, very well. Um, so it's hard to knock it. Several times watching this movie, I'm just like, "Man, this is so lovely. Can't believe we stopped making movies like this." You know? And my girlfriend Jen, she was like, "Oh, it's expensive, like, 2D animated movies are expensive." And it's like, "Yeah, but this movie only cost $40 million in today's money.
Yeah,
That's not really all that much
compared
compared
to
to
like what we're
most of
doing,
what's
like
being
how
made
we're
today.
ballooning
Yes.
up,
Oh, yeah.
pretty much every production budget for every movie. Like 40
Elio's
million.
budget was 150 to 200 million, so I really don't wanna hear it is I guess what I'm saying. I don't
Wait,
wanna
what?
hear any
Which which
excuse.
which movie?
Elio, that, like, that Pixar movie that just came out and flopped. You don't know anything about that one?
No, yeah, we talked about that. Yeah,
Oh,
the
okay.
Universe. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was, at minimum $150 million.
Yeah, I've seen some people also talking about in the chat K-pop Demon Hunters, which I just decided to look the budget up for that one. That one's been successful, I think, for the most part. People are pretty hyped on that one, from what I understand. That was $100 million. So like, if adjusted for maybe the price of the labor has gone up, but like adjusted for inflation, you could probably you could make this movie for 40 million, and so it would still come in cheaper than even a relatively low budget animated film now.
Yeah, I don't think they have any excuse. I just watch these movies like, we've been going on this arc, and every single time I'm like, "Damn, this looks incredible. I can't believe we stopped doing this." Like, I don't care if "Oh, it's tedious and labor intensive." It's like, "Yeah, but it's gonna last forever." That's like the whole point of making movies. They last forever. You put in a ton of work, and then it's something that will live on for generations. The more work you put in, and the more effort and care and attention to detail and all that stuff, the better chance it will, last longer in the public consciousness and all that sort of fun stuff. So I don't know. I don't really feel like handing them any excuses for it. I guess that's what
Yeah.
I'm getting at here.
So it wasn't the animated Demon Slayer movie #1 in theaters last week. I don't know if it was #1, but I've heard it was very successful. I know a lot of people who went to see it.
I have someone asked earlier if we plan to cover it. I wasn't planning on covering it. It's not really my cup of tea, at least
Demon
from the.
Slayer or K-pop Demon Hunters?
Oh, I was thinking of K-pop Demon Hunters, but I realize now that you were talking about something different.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't remember, like, neither of us are big anime people, so I wouldn't
No.
have expected that Demon Slayer was on the list to cover. I kind of want to watch K-pop Demon Hunters just to see what all the hype is about, but I don't know if like that's something
Yeah, you
necessarily
can let
we
me
want to
know
cover.
if it's
Yeah.
something I should watch or not. The other thing that I feel like I don't really want to see it, but I feel like I have to, is One Battle After Another. Paul
Uh,
Thomas Anderson's new film.
I
Do you
haven't
know
heard about. I
anything
haven't
about
heard
it?
anything
You?
about this.
Okay. Well, I'll say this. I hear, "Ooh, Paul Thomas Anderson has a new movie coming out. Cool. I like a lot of his movies. I'm excited about that." And then I see the trailer. I'm like, it's not really gripping me. And also, like, what exactly is this movie about? So I go look into what the movie is about. And the more I read about what actually happens in the movie, the more I'm like, oh, I don't want to see that. Sounds Like, why would I want to watch that, especially right now? We're just going to leave it at that for now. We're going to go back to 101 Dalmatians. I suppose we were talking about Cruella and character designs and things of that nature. It was mentioned that the angularity of her like bony, rail thin body with the giant fur coat is a nice contrast. I kind of like the idea that like the Dalmatians are, they're white with black spots and everything like that, and she has this like hard, like rather disorienting like contrast between the white and black sides of her hair. It's like it feels more off balance. It feels more like she's not integrated, like she's more like bipolar. You know what I mean? It's like the same colors, but the effect is very different. And I quite like that in the end they have to disguise themselves as like black labs by rubbing themselves with soot. It's pretty fun. There's a lot of cool stuff like that. There's a lot of cool color work. There's more general sort of Disney's propensity to have the good guys be in primary colors and associate the bad guys with, secondary colors. Obviously the Dalmatians are black and white, but like Pongo has a red collar and Perdita has a blue collar, and they both have like kind of gold yellow things presumably with their names on it. And then when we go to the house of Cruella, like she's got like kind of like a purple car. There's like green smoke associated with her a lot, and that house is very like purple and orange. So that keeps up the general tradition.
Yeah. Oh well, and whenever she's smoking, she's breathing out this like vile green vapor from the cigarette.
That already.
Oh, yes, I missed. I'm sorry, I missed that. I was looking for a screenshot of it.
Joe Biden moment.
Well, yeah. Poor kids are just every bit as bright and talented as white kids. Black labs are every bit.
I fucking forgot he said that. That's incredible. Mr. Redhead says, I've been told that most of the anime films by Miyazaki's are the closest to having the Disney whimsical feel. Those are about the only ones I've seen. I've seen a couple of them, not all of them yet, but I've seen Spirited Away and
Did you watch The Boy and the Heron when we did the Oscar
No, I
coverage?
didn't. You watched that one, but I really liked Spirited Away, for example. So I would definitely be down to watch some of his movies at some point for sure.
We should watch Pompoko, the one that one's fun. It's one of my favorite ones.
Heck yeah.
It's basically Fern Gully, but like with raccoons with big testicles. That is a vital plot point of the movie.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that that's a vital
some good representation for us big bald boys, you know.
So, I think we Cruella de Vil's truck is red, not purple. I'm sorry. I misspoke. It's just I was looking at a screenshot of it later driving through the snow.
Dark, yeah.
And it's purple in that. So that's what threw me off. It's a red car. My bad. It's kind of like how the color scheme works for the evil queen in Snow White. There's definitely like green involved, green and purple with her, but also red. So it's not full secondary colors. It's like red, green, and purple, which is an interesting choice. Anyway, I think red, you associate with like passion and all that sort of stuff. So it works for villains a lot of times. Anywho, let's jump into the plot, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
So after an absolute banger of an opening title sequence, we get some opening narration. We think maybe it's from Roger because we see him first. There's a nice little bait and switch. Actually, the narration is coming from Pongo, the Dalmatian, as he lays by the window rather. And I like that because he calls Roger his pet. That's kind of a running joke in the movie that the dogs refer to humans as their pets. Fun little joke. And basically, he's talking about the life of a bachelor and how it's not all it's cracked up to be. It's actually rather boring. Roger is, he's a nice guy. He's talented or whatever. He's a hard worker, but
he's constantly writing songs about romance, something that he knows absolutely nothing about.
Exactly. And if it were up to him, he'd be a bachelor forever. So Pongo is taking it upon himself to find a suitable match for him. There's a fun little joke where he's like looking at a magazine that has like some pretty ladies on it. We mentioned something about like I have a rough idea of what humans are looking for in a mate, but like I'm not the best judge of that sort of thing. And so he's looking out the window, and there's a fun little gag where we see dogs and their owners, their masters, dressed and like walking in very similar ways. It's quite funny. Along those lines, someone mentioned it earlier that we have Roger and Anita and Pongo and Perdita,
Yeah.
which are quite fun character names as well, and they sort of similarly fit
It's like
that
poetry, they
same.
rhyme.
Yeah, exactly. They fit the same pattern where they, have similar personality types and mannerisms as their owner, which is quite a fun little
Yeah,
device
got
of the movie.
the pug, the woman walking the
Mhm.
pug is dressed with the same color, and
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So he's looking out the window and he's like, no, not this one. Like, no, she's too short and squat. Oh, she's too fancy, too old, too young, whatever. And then he sees a Dalmatian, very pretty in his mind, a Dalmatian. And he's like, oh, please, please let the owner be pretty as well. And he sees her and he's like, yep, that'll do. So he's like, come on, Roger, we got to go. But Roger's working and he works till 5. So he has to trick Roger by moving the hands of the clock to 5 o'clock. And so Roger goes, "Oh, geez, would you look at the time? I guess it's time to go for a walk." And I quite like the gag where he sees, the clock on the wall or on the shelf is 5, and then he looks at his watch and he's like, "Oh God, my watch is slow." And so he takes him for a walk. He takes him to the park, and Pongo's like pulling him like crazy, trying to catch up with that Dalmatian and its owner. And we see some of the same people that we saw out the window earlier. Eventually, he sees, well, we don't know her name yet, but Perdita and Anita in the park. And so Pongo brings Roger to go sit by the lake, and he's like, "Okay, we're here," but like he would just sit here and never do anything if it were up to him. So he has to like try and trick him again and try to. So what he does is he like gets the leash on him and he pulls and he pulls, he pulls, and then he runs around Anita and they get all tangled up. They fall into the water. It's their meet cute, essentially. All thanks to Pongo, who's a real one. None
Yeah,
of this would
yeah.
happen if Pongo wasn't desperate to get Roger laid. So we appreciate that.
The
Pongo's a good
ultimate
friend.
wingman,
Oh, absolutely.
man's best friend indeed.
And so that's how they meet. And there's a fun little thing where like Perdita and Pongo share looks, and then we get this like look like cool spotlight effect on Pongo. I want you to show it because it's a fun stylized little thing. He's got like this stupid smile on his face. It's pretty funny. Whoops. There it is.
Nice. All right, I'll get that up there.
It's great. I love it. So, and then we fast forward and they're married. Isn't that lovely? But unlike perhaps some other Disney movies that end with a marriage, this one has just begun. But they're living in their little, house in London,
Little
little row
row
home.
house. Row
Yeah,
house.
whatever. Row house. And we're introduced to the maid. What's the maid's name again?
Isn't
She's
it
really
Nanny?
funny. It's just
It's
Nanny,
just
yeah.
Nanny. They just call her Nanny. Yeah, she's such a doting, like dumpy woman.
She seems like a lovely old lady.
Yeah,
I like this.
it's
There's
such a
like
classic British like archetype, right? Like this jolly servant lady, basically.
yeah, who's like maybe a little neurotic, but means well. I quite like later in the movie when like she hears a knock at the door and she thinks it could be the puppies or whatever, and so she runs and her arms are flailing above her head, like her like run animations, for lack of a better word, are very very funny in this movie. Oh, and one of the things I was curious about when I was watching this is like how many of the voice actors in this movie are actually British, because it's an American production. I'm like, are these actual British actors or did they just, get Americans to do voices? So Pongo is voiced by Rod Taylor, who is Australian. So we'll
Oh,
call
okay.
that close enough. Um, like Colonel, that guy's British. Nanny, she's British. Roger Roger is voiced by a British guy. Most of them are British, except for Cruella.
Oh, great.
Cruella's
That's fun.
Cruella is voiced by Betty Lou Gerson, who is from Tennessee.
Damn, she does
And
a
I
great
think
job.
she does a good job. I think you can maybe hear that it's not. It's like it's pretty good British accent. It's not incredible, but like I don't know, the fact that she sounds a little bit different than everyone else, it kind of works to a
Yeah.
degree. As far as I can tell, most of the actors in the movie, most of the voice actors, are in fact British, or like as in the case of Pongo, Australian. So close enough. So I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Because I think well, I can't remember which Disney movie we watched now where they had some like British characters in the movie that like weren't British at all. I can't remember what it was now.
What,
Doesn't matter.
Peter Pan, maybe?
Maybe, yeah. Oh no, Pongo's retarded. No, Listen, Pongo is not retarded, despite the look on his face right now. He is stricken. He is lovesick. He is enamored.
Yeah,
Anywho,
he has not topped off on his acetaminophen. Not in this shot, anyway.
hello from Glasgow, Scotland. Jamie, I met your mom and dad in a cafe yesterday and told them I would say hi. Well, thank you very much, Jack Donaghy. My dad mentioned that he found 2 new subscribers for us in
Oh,
Glasgow.
that's incredible. Spreading the good word.
Spreading the good word. Welcome. Yeah. So 101 Dalmatians. Where were we? So,
well, they're married,
you know,
and Roger's working on a saw. Yeah, they're living the life together. He's still a struggling artist, but he has a live-in servant, which is very classic English thing to do.
I like his little like studio in the attic where he's got his upright bass and his trumpet and his piano and trombone and all that sort of stuff, but it's all cluttered and stuff like that. I like it.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, that reminds me. It reminds me of some of the rooms in my house. Yeah, I like that a lot. And he's working on a new song. It's pretty catchy, but he doesn't have any lyrics to it yet. So, he's coming down at the end of a day and trying to figure it
I'm in
out.
a little tune. He's humming a little tune, and she's like, "Oh, like ta 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 tum." It's like, "Oh, those are some great lyrics." And he's like, "Melody first, always melody first, then the lyrics." And then they're about to get a visit from Cruella de Vil. Now, I was kind of getting this mixed up because I'm also familiar to a lesser degree with the 90s live action version with Glenn Close. In that movie, Anita, Cruella is her employer. So Anita works for Cruella de Vil. In
Isn't that
this movie,
Oh no, they're old friends. That's right. Yeah.
yeah, they're just old friends in this movie, which is always kind of baffling to me. That's probably the most baffling thing about this movie. It's like, okay, how do you know this lady? Why? Like, why? How did this relationship form? This is like, this feels like the relationship in. It's like, oh God, why is my mind blanking right now? Back to the Future
Huh?
with
Oh.
Marty and
Oh, with
Doc.
Marty and Doc. Yeah,
Right. It's
why
like,
did
how did you two become friends exactly? Is what I'm wondering.
That's actually a good point. Like how did Marty and Doc ever actually connect?
Yeah,
How did their paths cross?
old schoolmates, old friends, and it's like, okay, if you say so. So like,
Well, okay, so Georgius Rex is saying like Nanny came with Anita, right? So like maybe Anita was sort of the like she was sort of like the bottom tier sub to one of the British private schools that Cruella went to, maybe. Like she's like upper middle class, but Cruella's aristocratic, something like that. Maybe that's how that happens. I don't know.
yeah, I can understand. My problem is not that they went to the same school; it's that they're friends.
Yeah, like
Like, why are they
why is she
friends?
friends with this creature?
She like bulldozes her way through every conversation. It's like, oh, you told me you're having puppies. Like, damn it, I thought these were gonna have spots. Why don't they have spots? Oh, they will in a few weeks. Okay, well, let me know when they do. Like, do you not know what she does? Like, I mean, like, all we really know about Cruella is that besides the fact that they're old schoolmates or whatever, is that she loves furs more than anything in the world. And she's like, when did they get spots? Tell me when they get spots. Call me back when they get spots. And then she leaves. And it's like, why are you friends with this woman? I don't understand.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, Old Money in Decline is definitely the read that I get on Cruella from this movie, right? Like when we see her mansion later on, it's up at the old DeVille place, and it's like a crumbling, estate.
Yes.
Yeah.
She wants to live in luxury, but like she's, obviously not doing anything to make money anymore. So that's why it's interesting in the live action version that like she designs and makes fur coats for a living,
Well, and that's sort of taken on, its own part in the mythology behind this character, right? Because like that's what the entirety of the Cruella movie is, right? Is like her up and coming journeys in the world of fashion design.
I mean, she looks like she could be that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I can understand that.
It fits. No, I mean, like it does make sense to me. I just, like in this, I thought it was more present in this movie than it actually turns out that it is. That's kind of surprising.
She's like, oh, here's Cruella. She just stops in every once in a while, and we hate it every time. It's like, okay.
But hey, it gives him some pretty great inspiration for a little lyrics to his song.
He's not a fan of her.
Immediately starts jamming and drops an absolute banger freestyle.
Well, first of all, I like that when she comes by, he just starts blaring music from upstairs, like to be annoying on purpose. It's a little bit like Anatomy of a Fall. Yeah. Remember that?
Yes.
Where he's just blasting that 50 Cent beat to be annoying. Anyway, so he's playing his music real loud. She's flying all over the place. She's rude to Nanny. She's kind of like aggressive towards Pongo and everything. Perdita flees before she even gets there and goes and hides under the stove because she doesn't want anything to do with her because she thinks she's evil, and rightly so. It seems pretty obvious. She's stinking up the joint with her noxious green cigarette smoke. She's like I said, she's like she gets one of the puppies. Wait, what? No, they don't have puppies yet. They don't have the puppies.
They don't have the because. Oh,
what?
I've never actually watched Cruella because I had like I think I talked to you a little bit about this after I rewatched Wizard of Oz recently, where I was like, wow, that movie was a lot of fun. You know what? I have absolutely no desire to see a movie about the backstory of the villain. It's kind of the same thing happened here. I was like, wow, this is a lot of fun. You know what? I have absolutely no desire to watch.
Yeah.
But Kevo mentioned in the chat that in the Cruella movie, Anita is played by a black woman and Roger is played by a brown man. Very interesting.
Cool.
Wow. We did a great job, guys.
Thanks for that.
Victory.
We did it. Anyway, Cruella comes in and she's like, where are the puppies? Oh, you don't have the puppies yet? Well, let me know when you have the puppies. And then she leaves, essentially. Roger comes down and he's like, I got it. I finally know the words to the song I've been working on. And he starts singing Cruella de Vil, which is a great little tune, very jazzy. And it's, a nice vehicle to vent his hatred for her. Which is pretty good. And he's dancing around. I like that he's dancing around with his wife and the dog's just jumping around barking at them. It's very relatable to me. Yes. It's exactly something my dog would do.
We watched this with my family's Great Dane, who has Dalmatian type coloring, and she was very into it. She has a thing for watching animals move on TV screens.
My dog didn't watch the whole movie with us, but he did come into the room when they were doing the Twilight Bark, where it's just barking for like a solid few minutes of the movie. He came in and started howling. It was pretty fun. Anyway, so then Pongo goes to find Perdita under the stove, and she's so terrified of Cruella de Vil, and like she's like, especially because Cruella keeps asking about the puppies, and Perdita quite rightly says, like, there's no way she loves them. Why does she want to Why is she so interested in them? She's scared.
Yeah.
And she's so scared she even mentions that, like, maybe we shouldn't even have the puppies. Because she basically
she considers abortion
well
as
she
you would
no,
if the devil if literal Satan came in looking for your child to skin and turn it into a wristwatch, maybe
you'd be
you'd
like,
consider like maybe we should just like not do that. Maybe it's
she's pretty scared. She basically she doesn't think Anita properly distrusts Cruella enough, essentially. So
yes.
then it's a dark and stormy night, and it's finally time for her to give birth. And God, I love the animation. I'm just looking at a bunch of stills right now. I love the animation of Roger like nervously smoking his pipe along with like the ticking of the clock. Is I There's so many scenes in this movie that were very nostalgic for me because I haven't seen them in years, but like I watched this movie like a ton. I can like picture myself at daycare like watching this movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like this scene, I love the scene with the puppies being born. It's great. There's a sort of like nervous energy in the room, and like Roger's very nervous. He's kind of neurotic, and like there's all these great little moments where like Nanny comes bursting out of the door, and then Pongo jumps in. I think it was like lightning or something like that scares the both of them, and he like jumps into his lap. Hold on, I'm gonna show it on screen because it's fun. And so like they're in the other room while everything is happening, while the puppies are being born in the other room, and Nanny comes in to mention like, oh look, we have so many puppies and they're all doing well. We have 12, 13, 14, 15 puppies. Oh no, but one of them didn't make it. And so she brings in one of the 15 puppies, and it is like wrapped in a blanket, and Nanny hands it to Roger, and then the happy joyful mood, like they're singing and dancing, and then that sort of brings the energy back down, right? And so I this is a great moment because
I'm
these movies,
taking a screenshot of that right now, actually. Yeah, because I love the scene where he's like trying to revive it. It's the way that all the sound except the clock ticking like drains out of the scene. You get Pongo's face, like the way that they animate his face falling, and then his
yes,
hopeful eyes when he watches Roger try to save the dog. It's
oh, it's so
it's so
good.
good, man. It's so
It's so
good.
unbelievably good, and I really respect like when movies like this know how to use music and know when to not use music. Because if memory served, there's like no music for any of this. There's just the kind of like ticking of the clock on the wall that you can see there, and there's just like the sitting in the silence while he's sort of like, rubbing the dog, the little puppy in its little burrito, like trying to get its heart started again. And then it finally works. And then it's a big, joyful celebration after that. It's great.
Yeah, and they
It's
named that
great.
one Lucky, which is just like,
Yep.
yeah, because and then he's got a little horseshoe on his back later on in the movie. When you see him, like
Yes.
it's
That's how you know it's lucky. Yeah,
yeah,
it's great. I love all the little puppies except for Rolly. Fuck that little guy. Rolly is so annoying. We'll talk about it.
the one who's the fat one who's just hungry all the
Yeah,
time.
the fat one. Yes, the fat one who won't shut the hell up about being hungry.
Like all
Rolly.
fat people do.
Yes, Roger saved the puppy like a Giga Chad. It's great.
Yeah,
It's great.
well,
It's such a great moment. And Lucky is fun too. Like once he's grown up later in the movie, he's the one who's like obsessed with the TV. He's always like trying to get up, like right up close in front of the TV, and it's like standing up in front of all the rest of them, and they keep telling him to get down. It's great. Yeah,
yeah.
he's got the little horseshoe on his back. Great.
So Jay
Good
Jameson
stuff.
says nowadays this would be too uncomfortable to show. You might be right about that. I don't know if they would have the balls to do it, right? Like to have a
Yeah.
moment, like even if it's gonna get reversed, to have a moment where like a newborn baby might have died, right? Like
Yeah.
that might be too. That I
And
think that
it's
would be too much for modern Disney.
And for a movie that's not that long, it's kind of a long little moment that we have to sit through. We have to sit in that for a bit. Like, oh God, are we going to be able to save this puppy? And you suspect that they probably will, but like, it's a tense little emotional sequence.
Yeah,
Right?
I like the expression on Pongo I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger because I think one of the really interesting things you can see is like you can see the little bag under his eye. Like
Yes.
they drew the bag under his eye to make it so that he's exhausted and emotional at like
Yeah.
it's
He's tired too. Yeah.
yeah,
Right. It's
it's
such a great little
so
detail.
good.
And they're so expressive in this movie. It's fantastic. But the celebration is cut short because Cruella shows up and she's this like evil silhouette in the doorway. She comes in, she's like, "Oh, the puppies, the puppies. Let me see the puppies." And she's like, "How much do you want for them?" And they're like, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know. We weren't planning on selling them." It's like, "Oh, but you have 15 puppies. There's no way you can afford to take care of them all by yourself." So she's sort of calling them poor in addition to everything else. And there's a great moment where she's like flicking the ink in her pen, trying to get like the ink so she can sign the check. And she sprays a bunch of ink blots all over Roger. And so Roger and Pongo are both staring back at her and they're both covered in spots. It's great.
Yeah.
Great little gag. And then she sees one of the puppies and she's like, they don't even have their spots yet. I thought they were gonna have their spots. And it's like they don't get their spots for like a couple weeks or something like that. And she's like, okay, fine, how much do you want for them? And then Roger puts on puts on his angry eyes and kind of stammers his way through saying, well, no, we're not selling them to you, and that's final.
Yeah.
But he very nervously. Yeah, it's great. How the expressions are so good.
Yeah, I love the like so when Pongo is like as she's trying to write the check and being like, so when can they leave their mother? Right? Like they've just watched this happen where she's like, they have no spots, they're mongrels. What's wrong with them?
Mhm.
Oh God, these
Ugh.
it's so funny, but like his like I can't get the gif of it right, but like his eyes go from like a little bit wide, like they narrow as he's doing this, as like he realizes like something's up here, right? And it's like I love the way that he's like just kind of like like the
Yeah,
expression that, and then it's matched by Roger a little later in the scene when
yeah.
he's trying to like he puts his chin up and he's got the same kind of like yeah, when he's like standing there with his chest puffed out and everything.
Yep, yep. It's great, but he stands up to her and he's nervous about it because he doesn't want to it's that like tension between not wanting to be rude but also wanting to put your foot down. And so he kind of stammers his way through like a no, they're not for sale, you can't have them. And she's like, okay, well, you'll change your mind. Let me know when you change your mind. And she leaves essentially. And so now we have 15 little Dalmatian puppies. Isn't that great? Next scene we get is another one that's very nostalgic for me is them watching the Western dog show on TV.
Yeah,
Oh,
Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt,
Thunderbolt,
yes.
the sheriff of the dog sheriff of the West is
Yes,
great.
and he's like chasing after the horse thief, which is another great little detail because obviously we're going to be dealing with dog thieves in a bit. So, like,
Yep.
it's the heroic Western sheriff dog is chasing after the evil horse thief human, and so all the puppies are completely transfixed by this program on the television. We get a little bit of character details about them. We learn some of their names, like Lucky and Patch. And Rolly, who's the fat one, who I swear to God, every time we see him, essentially, he's in the same position where he's like looking over his shoulder, like, I'm hungry, whatever. And it's just like, shut up, Rolly. It's like the
I
same
love the face.
shot
I love
every
his
time.
face though, and it's like his face is just like I feel like I've made that face a million times when somebody said something really fucking retarded to me. So like at the same time, God, it's all right. Hold on, where?
So we got Patch, we get Lucky, we got what are some of the other ones? They kind of blend together a bit for me because there's 15 of them.
Yeah, and like the one of the downsides I think is that like by having 50, like you get 101 by the end of it, right? But like by having 15, you can only get so many distinct characters in
Yeah,
in that, right? Like I think somebody
yeah,
mentioned like Tolkien couldn't even properly really characterize all 12 dwarves in The Hobbit or however many there are in The Hobbit, right? Like So, and that there's 101 puppies by the end of it, but like to start, we've got 15 plus the two
Mhm.
adult dogs. So you don't really have these distinct characters.
No, there's
Like
there's the one who wants to, like, put his face right up to the screen in front of the television. There's the fat one who's always hungry. There's Patch who's, like, really aggressive, and he's like, you get that, horse thief," and he's, like, saying things, and the mom has to be like, "Where'd you learn that kinda language?" You know? But that's really all you get in terms of characterization, because mostly it is going to be about Ongo,
in
I think, more
Perdita,
than
yeah.
anything, and Perdita, yeah. And the host of side characters and, like, the goose and the horse and the cat who help out along the way. Yeah, so, like, the puppies don't have a ton of character to them, but that's fine. They're watching the show, and at one point when the dog tackles the horse thief off the cliff, they go tumbling into the water, all the dogs are barking at once, which is funny to me. I like that a lot. And then we see a little ad for Canine Crunchies, and the little jingle for Canine Crunchies is so bad, I love it. It's it's like it's so, like, atonal and strange, it's great. Canine crunchies. It's terrible. It's great, but such a great little pastiche of, like, what, television was like back then, especially, like, the ads that they would have during those kind of programs. It's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
God, there's a scene later on too where they're gonna have like the villains are watching a show on TV.
mhm.
Do you remember what that is?
It's like Guess My Crime or
Yeah,
something
like
like
they
that.
like the idea that they like bring convicted criminals out and have panelists ask questions, and if people can get it correct, like they'll get reduced sentences.
Yeah, well, it's not if I remember correctly, like, they don't get reduced sentences, they can get to go on a certain, like, paid vacation once you've once you've paid your debt to society, that is. Like, it's I think that's what they say. It's like, "Oh, if you win, if they aren't able to guess it, you'll get this trip to Bora Bora or whatever, once you've paid your debt to society, that is." So it's like 15 years from now when they get out of prison, they get a paid vacation or something like that.
Grand
It's a
Dark
pretty fun
Fang,
show.
thank you very much for the super chat. Says, I missed the live stream last week, so I wanted to say this. Spike Lee is an anti-white coward that is going to set us back by decades with his race hustling slop. YouTube won't let me say the racing word, so I had to improvise. Well, we appreciate that and we agree as well. I think that is an accurate assessment of Spike Lee's contribution to American
Yeah, I'm not
cinema.
a big fan of Spike Lee and his contributions to culture, you could say. Though I think nothing he makes anymore really seems to have any sort of cultural staying power. So I think we have bigger concerns in the, like, setting race relations back in culture department than Spike Lee. Like, it's like Sinners, I think, will do more to set things back than any new Spike Lee movie will. But he is a negative influence in that regard. Not a fan of Spike Lee. I
Agreed.
agree.
Yeah. And Kyle R says Rolly is a lot like George R. R. Martin in that he is fat. Yes, and in that he does not write.
It's true. Neither of them right.
We fun fact, we never see him pick up a pencil or sit at a typewriter in this entire movie. Um, much like we
Trust her
haven't
about
seen
this. I
George
saw
Martin.
the cinema wins on Sinners, and he was saying some suspicious stuff. Interesting.
No,
Like,
I have not watched a Cinema Wins or Sins video in probably a
that's fine,
decade.
I would say.
I don't
But
feel
I'm
like I'm missing
curious.
much,
I'm
but
curious what kind of suspicious stuff we're talking about here. Yeah, but just to put a fine point on it, the thing about Sinners that still really annoys me is that, like, the movie is like, yeah, cultural assimilation is a demonic trick. Don't do it. It's like, oh
yeah.
boy, that's not good. I don't think. I think that's
I don't know
probably a
if
bad
I don't know
thing.
if I agree with that, Ryan. Yeah.
Uh, so, let's keep going. So we are introduced to some of the puppies as they're watching television. It's a very cute little scene. Then we are introduced to Jasper and Horace, two Cockney criminals who are staking out their house, waiting for uh, Roger and Anita to take Pongo and Perdita on their nightly walk, thus leaving all the puppies alone so they can break in and steal the puppies. Oh no, that's not good. We don't like that. And so they break in and they're very rude to Nanny in the process, which we also don't appreciate. They pretend to be from the electric company, which is a fun little detail where they have their little briefcase that they've written electric company on, but they forgot the R, so they put the R above with like a little carrot
Yeah,
pointing at them.
that's fun.
Electric Co. And so they sort of force their way in. They're very rude. There's some oh my gosh, there's just some great like action frames in this whole like debacle that are very funny of like poor Nanny like flying through the air and stuff like that.
Holy shit, that's such a great
They're
like
very very
they like
it's not
there's
nice
some
at all.
very memeable moments in this movie, I would say. Like
Oh yeah.
these really could have taken off at some point, you know. That's fucking great.
Frosted Robot, this is a quote from Cinema Wins. It's also not a coincidence that a white passing woman is the one who brings the vampirism into the juke. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
that
sure it's
is some
not a coincidence. Ryan Coogler clearly designed it that way.
yes,
Um, yeah.
exactly. But no, that is the kind of thing you would say out loud if you liked Sinners.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's a bigger concern for me than Spike Lee's almost universally panned highest to lowest. That was actually one of the things that I was surprised to find out after we did the little stream on it, is that highest to lowest is like has pretty bad reviews now.
Oh,
Like
well, it
on
looks like we were
IMDb,
ahead of the curve.
on IMDb, it's a 5.6 out of 10, which is very low by IMDb standards. It has a 2.3 out of 5 for Google. Only on Rotten Tomatoes is it a positive. It's in the positive, and I see a lot of people giving reviews of it that are like not positive. For example, I watched Chris Stuckman. He gave a very very positive review of highest to lowest because of course he did. But I
Well,
saw
he would
most
never
of
want to give a bad review just because he knows how hard it is to make a movie
yes,
now.
yeah,
So he's like,
exactly.
even if he didn't like it, he'd just say, I can't review it.
Yeah, and that's what he does. Because one of my favorite things that I was a part of with EFAP is when we did a whole video, like a whole stream, looking into Chris Stuckman and his stance on what you just described. And Mahler called it the kill. I think he called it the killing of Chris Stuckman by the coward Chris
Yeah,
Stuckman.
yeah.
Very funny.
He
Very, very
did.
funny
I
indeed.
remember.
Anyway, no, but I watched his review of highest to lowest, which of course he was very positive about. And like 75 to 80% of the comments were like, dude, what are you talking about? This movie sucked. I was like, oh, all right.
Well, that's good to
That's
see.
interesting. That is good to see. I was heartened by that.
Grand Art Fang,
Yeah.
again, thank you very much for the super chat. Says, not to mention Jordan Peele, one of Spike Lee's many malignant acolytes. We did talk briefly about the Jordan Peele, the
Yeah.
fall of Jordan Peele during our coverage of Highest to Lowest. Yeah. Anyways, 101 Dalmatians is a pretty wholesome movie back when Disney gave a shit. Any plans to review any anime in the future? I don't, neither of us are really big anime watchers. I have started
Not yet,
watching some
anyway.
One Punch Man, which I think is funny. Um, very very funny. When I like to turn my brain off at the end of the night, I'll catch an episode of that. And I know there's a new season coming out. My girlfriend tells me, so I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about that in passing at some point.
Maybe we will. It's not high on my list.
Yeah.
I would say it doesn't, having not seen much of it, other than like movies like Spirited Away, for example. Having not seen much of it, it doesn't appeal to me on the surface, but I think maybe if I, gave some of the better anime a watch, if I gave it a shot, maybe I would like it.
Yeah, I
It's
think
hard to say, but
yeah.
it's just, like, I haven't read many comic books either, and it's just not something that's really high on my list of things to do. It's just, it doesn't appeal to me a whole lot, but, maybe if we can the assassination of Chris that's the word.
Yeah.
I said killing, that wasn't the right word. Um, what was the other thing I wanted to point out? Someone said
Oh, there was another quote from the Sinners Cinema Wins. While I'm glad nobody spoiled it, if someone had whispered he murks a bunch of clan members with it at the end, I would have rushed to watch this movie even faster than I did. That the fact that like that just sounds like something um very like it's just it's a cringy thing to say, right? It's just like,
yeah.
boy, I really wow, it's really good. Oh, why is it good? Oh, well, he kills a bunch of KKK members at the end. That's a good thing. Like, oh, I thought it was a movie
Okay.
about vampires. Isn't it? Isn't it a
Dude, I
vampire
couldn't
movie?
believe, like, how little they had to do with the movie, and yet we spend, like, the final act of the movie focused on just mowing them all down. It's like, what are we doing? Anyway, unironically, Django Unchained is a better movie about killing white racists than
Yeah.
anything Ryan Coogler has ever made. Kyle R says Kurosawa is way too esteemed to ignore how bad it is just for please invite me to the cookout points. Yeah, I would say that's true.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason so many people aren't as willing to just say that highest to lowest is incredible is because, like, oh no, they've seen high to low and they know that it's way better. It's the same reason that, like, Old Boy is generally everyone just sort of agrees Spike Lee's Old Boy sucks.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
have to pretend it's good just because it's Spike Lee. Anywho,
Yeah. Yeah. So I
um,
guess we'll get back to 101 Dalmatians or something,
the
whatever.
very wholesome and nice movie that we were watching and talking about. So the very not good criminals are being very rude to Nanny, and I don't appreciate that. And they steal all the puppies, which is very, very sad. And they steal all the puppies, but then this makes the news, and now they don't know what to do with them. They're like, "Hey, we don't want to be involved in this." And Cruella's like hell, you're gonna bail on me now. Like, you need to do the deed. So we don't really, I guess, if you've never seen the movie before, you don't really know what they're being stolen for yet. If you're like a kid watching this, it is kind of like a reveal later, but it does seem pretty obvious from the word go as far as I'm concerned. Oh my goodness, would you look at that phone?
Yeah.
Are
We
you
sure are
putting that
gonna.
on screen?
I
Cruella's phone design is incredible.
She went out and bought one of these, but Dalmatians killed her mother. So, it's justified, I suppose, that, she's made this her entire personality.
Oh, that's just so fun.
I love it. Like, yeah, look at it. It's beautiful. I wonder who the villain is in the movie.
Yeah, that's great. So anyway, Roger and Anita and Pongo and Perdita, they're all very distraught at having lost the puppies. Things are not going well. They get a call from Cruella at one point, and Anita's on the phone with her. And Roger is very, very angry because he suspects that, she stole the puppies because she's suspect number one in his eyes, and rightfully
Yeah,
so.
Roger's intuition is right on.
Oh, it's right on the money. But they don't really have any leads. They don't really know what to do. And Pongo and Perdita are like, all right, the humans don't really know what to do. We're gonna have to take care of this ourselves. We need to employ the Twilight Bark TM. So they take them on a walk to, like, the top of a hill in the park nearby in London, and they sound the alarm. They light the beacons, if you will, to alert all the other dogs. What they spread the word that their 15 puppies have been stolen,
Oh,
and that
Jesus. Wait, people are pointing out she has a heroin spoon on the table there. That's crazy. I
yeah,
mean, I didn't even notice that, but yeah, no, that's got to be what that is. Like, there's no other reason to have it.
little vials of God knows what. Yeah, I think it's I think you could reasonably assume that that's what that is.
Yeah, it explains the cheekbones.
Yeah, well, it certainly does explain the cheekbones. Anita
And
says
the
the police
the
cleared her apparently
crack house
without
that she
searching
lives
her
in.
country house. Yeah, that's right. Anita says that, like, Cruella, like, they don't suspect Cruella because apparently she has like a house in the city and then the country house, like the manor where all the puppies are being stolen. Sorry, where all the stolen puppies are being held, that's like falling into disrepair. Um, because we will eventually learn from the dogs along this Twilight Bark chain of passing information that, like, well, maybe they're at the DeVille place, which is this rundown mansion that, like, no one would suspect because it's, basically empty and run down and abandoned, right?
Yeah. I
So,
I love the like just the way that they set up the Twilight Bark system is just
oh yeah,
so like it's iconic for this movie at this point basically. But like I love the fact that it's like the whole premise of it, right, is that the like dogs barking is, dogs barking to each other can be like a network of, neighborhood watch.
yeah, yeah.
Basically. I
And they treat it very
Yeah,
seriously, like
it's
it's a
an all
prop
dog
for
alert.
military. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels very like, and I think this is another thing that makes it feel kind of nostalgic, right? Is like the British have a lot of nostalgia for World War II in general, I would say. I don't
Mhm.
think that that island has been as happy like as ever since the end of that war. But I think that this really kind of like it gets that community, that sense of community spirit, and like, just like national pride across, even just with, dogs barking at, to solve a problem, right?
Well, it's interesting because I think in the very beginning, let's see if I can pull it up. The 100, the opening narration is it sort of treats it like, because technically this movie came out in 1961, but based on the opening narration, you just kind of assume that it's like the very recent past, right? Like maybe late 50s or something like that.
Yeah.
The art style's very 60s, but the way they describe it is like, like it wasn't all that long ago. Let me see if I can pull it up. You keep talking.
Yeah, no, I just like the the way that they, oh, and so during the Twilight Bark scene as well, right? Like in the pet
Oh,
shop
sorry, really,
window.
really quick. Can I interrupt
Yeah,
you?
go for it.
Okay, so it says, "My story begins in London, not so very long ago, and yet so much has happened since then that it seems more like an eternity."
Okay, so like, yeah, recent past,
Yeah, but it's an interesting little thing about that. There's already a sort of like a little bit of nostalgia built into that.
yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
Yeah, and I think that I don't know. There's something very cozy, maybe is the word for it, right? Of like
Yeah.
this sort of old style communication network, right?
Hmm.
Like there's something about it that just really appeals to me, and I
They're
think,
all on the same team working together to try and
yeah,
stop these evildoers
yeah,
from.
and some of the Twilight Barkers, you see them in the pet shop window during the sequence, are the dogs from Lady and the Tramp, the bulldog
Yes.
and the
Yeah.
the
Which is fun.
yeah.
I like it. I think Lady and the Tramp is technically New York, right?
It's in, I think it's in like somewhere in America, right? Like
It's
that's
it's definitely
technically,
America is the main point, but
yeah.
yeah, it's just a nice little Easter egg sort of thing. Before that became an incredibly obnoxious thing to do, as it is nowadays. It's just like, "Ah, look at that. This the
They look,
same
they're
dog
they're
again."
there. They're still it's a little bit like seeing the same actors appear in Kurosawa movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seeing Shimura in the background of the police
Yeah.
investigation.
So Pongo is sounding the alarm. They're lighting the beacons. There's a Great Dane who passes on the word. Oh, there's a Great Dane. What's the dog he has with him? Like the little
Oh,
tiny yippy one.
it's a Yorkshire Terrier, right? Like a
Yeah,
Yorkie.
there's like, the Great Dane has this big, deep bark, as you might imagine, and then the Yorkshire Terrier is like yapping away, and as it's yapping, it like falls off the little post that it's on. It's great. A lot of great details. So, like, we're passing the word. We're seeing some of the same dogs we saw from the beginning of the movie. We're seeing some of the dogs from Lady and the Tramp, where it is traveling across the city and all the way out to the countryside, where eventually it is picked up by like a hound dog and a goose who pass the word on to the where they have the horse, the cat, and the dog who like his body shape is more like a bear. It's
We're talking the
Colonel.
sheepdog, the Colonel. Yeah.
Yes. I love that he's got like such like a fat rump. Like he's got like a bear shape to him, which is pretty funny to me. Um and so they pass the word along to them because they might know something about it. And they sort of treat it like they're a very old school military regiment. And it's kind of a fun like because the colonel obviously he's in charge, but like he's not really the most competent guy. His heart's in the right place, but he doesn't
His
have the
hearing
best
is going.
idea.
He's old, his hearing is
Yeah.
going, right? Like
Oh, but he's like 15 spotted puddles. What are those? Oh, puppy. Oh, of course.
balderdash, and like the cat. You better double check it, Colonel.
Yeah,
Better try that again. Maybe.
yeah. They're like, we should do this, and it's like, no, we should probably do this. It's like, oh, you think so? Oh, okay. Well, if you say so, you know what I mean. Like he's in
Yeah.
charge, but like no one thinks he's the most competent, essentially.
Yeah, they've got to basically convince him to sort of be like to give the correct orders, right?
Yeah.
That's again another like kind of funny, charming, very British post World War II kind of archetype for a
The
character.
other thing about the Twilight Bark that I like, there's a bit of dialogue about this where Pongo says, Purdy, I'm afraid it's all up to us. And she's like, oh, Pongo, is there any hope? He says, well, yes, there's the Twilight Bark. Like, Twilight Bark, that's only a gossip chain. Says, darling, it's the very fastest way to send news. I'm like, I like that. It's like, it's like there's like a sense that like, oh, well, like this sort of tight-knit community, like normally it's like that sort of communication is just for gossip and rumors and sort of stuff like that. But also like when things get tough, that sort of close, interconnected, communal sort of those communal bonds can be relied upon to help in sort of great danger and stuff like this. I like that. It's nice. And like there's quite a bit of tension in this whole like back half of the movie where like he's barking, we're not hearing anything. It's like there's no one out tonight, it's too cold, we've got to keep trying and all that sort of stuff. Like there's a real sense of urgency here that works quite well. And so there's like all the barking, whatever, and then they're like talking about like, well, it's up to me to reach the colonel. He'd be the only one in barking range. It's like, you'll never reach him at this hour. He's like, well, I can try. Like they're all very earnest and like, oh, we got to do our best. We have to do something,
Yeah.
And then it's great.
He's
and then there's the colonel. There's Sergeant Tibbs, who's the cat, right?
Yes.
What's the name of the horse?
Oh, I don't remember.
I can't remember. Anyway,
that's the little platoon. Oh, they just call him Captain.
The little platoon.
Yeah, that's their little platoon. Yes, out there in the countryside, voting for Brexit, doing all those.
Twilight Bark should be used for some kind of group chat. I agree. It's a good name, the Twilight Bark.
The horse's name is Captain.
Right. Anyway, so they pass the word along to the colonel, to the sergeant, and the captain, who eventually gets the word, and they're like, like, they're like, they've stolen 15 puppies and no one can find them. Where could they be? Like, well, maybe they're at the DeVille mansion, you know what I mean? Because we saw some cars go by and no one's usually there. So they go investigate and they send Tibbs in. And there's like always the sort of thing where like Sergeant Tibbs is really the one who has to do everything.
Yeah.
The colonel's in charge. I forget how. Hold on, I want to find the exact word because it's funny. Right. So it's like it sounds like they're talking about the spotted puddles, and it's like I believe it was puppies, sir. He's like, oh, puppies, right. And he's like, well, Colonel, sorry, I just remembered that 2 nights past I heard puppy barking over at the DeVille place. Like, nonsense, Tibbs. No one's lived there for years. He's like, hold on, there's smoke coming out of the chimney. Like, by Jove, that's strange indeed. I guess I suppose we better investigate. So, like, all the ideas and all the actual legwork is coming from Tibbs, but Colonel kind of takes credit for it in a way that's kind of funny. Like, they say the old place is haunted or bewitched or some sort of fiddle-faddle. It's like, fiddle-faddle and rot, sir. Just the same, use extreme caution. No telling what sort of hocus pocus you might run into. All the dialogue for these little side characters are so fun. And so basically, Ian's like, all right, Tibbs, it's all on you now. Go do your thing. And so he breaks his way in, and eventually he finds not 15, but 99 Dalmatians. Oh my goodness.
That's a
So many
lot of them.
Dalmatians. Most of them that do not have collars, like our 15 of that we met earlier in the movie. These other ones have come from directly from, like puppy mills and puppy
Pet
stores and
shops
all
and
that,
everything.
pet
Yeah.
shops and all that sort of stuff
So
like
he's
that.
stumbled on a much greater mystery here.
Yes.
Which, again, I'm trying to imagine, like, if you didn't know what was coming, right? This would be a pretty big reveal, right? It's like, oh my god, why are there 99 of you in here? This is crazy. This cat, like, looking for 15 of them, stumbles upon almost 100.
Yeah.
It's great. And he's a fun little investigator in this.
Oh yeah.
I like his stealth mission.
Yeah. His stealth missions are fun. And so we have like, the sort of drunken and slovenly, thieves that are just waiting for their orders or whatever. And so he's like trying to investigate. He's trying to count how many there are. And at one point, like he's right next to a bottle and he's kind of bottle shaped. So
Real quick, Defrosted Robot says, to be fair, the title kind of gave it away. It gave away how many. It doesn't give away the fact that she's going to skin them for a coat. That's what I meant.
Yeah, the title does. You're right.
The title does. You are correct, though. The title gives away exactly how many you could say there are going to be.
So once they discover that there's a cat amongst, in the midst or whatever, and it turns into this giant, like
a
little
Chinese takeaway.
This little chase scene, where he's throwing darts at the cat, which is not very nice. The cat accidentally smashes one of them into like a piano and into a cake, which is a really funny shot. Because it's like a cake sitting on a piano and he like reaches over and then the lid of the piano falls on him and forces his head into the cake. Fun stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so yes, Tibbs is, on his reconnaissance mission, but he's been discovered. He's being chased by the criminals. Meanwhile, they hear word from the Great Dane that, their puppies might be at the DeVille place out in the countryside. So Pongo and Perdita take it upon themselves to go brave the English winters and run all the way from the city to the countryside and across frozen rivers and all sorts of dangerous environments like that. They almost get hit by a car. It's a dangerous journey, but they've got to do what they can. And so meanwhile,
this is kind of fun how this sort of becomes the great escape in this half of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I really like where it goes from here, where they've got the chain of the chain of animals helping them as they make their way across the country. Yeah, like at their secret mission to smuggle them back. It's pretty great. They do never thank the cat. That is true. Tibbs is for sure. Well, you know what? We're going to discuss, Jay. We're going to discuss whether the Tibbs is the hero of the story thing when Jamie gets back, because I think that's a very interesting observation.
I'm back. What about Tibbs?
Jay Jameson says Tibbs is for sure the hero of the story. And I think he plays a large role. He's a hero of the story for sure. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Perhaps you could say unsung hero of the story.
Yes, because they do never thank him, as Kyle points out. But I think one of the nice things about it is that like he's kind of doing it out of his sense of moral duty. You don't really have to thank him for it. It's all in the job, right?
Well, there's a funny little bit. Hold on, there's a funny line about that where he says, "Okay, so like when they eventually rescue them, and they thank this, they thank the sergeant, the colonel, and the captain. It says, 'Thank you, Sergeant, Colonel, Captain. Bless you all. How can we ever repay you?'" And the colonel says, "Oh, nothing at all in the line of duty." And then Tibbs says, "Yeah, that's right, sir. Routine." Like they say, "What can we do to repay you?" And the colonel's like, No. Of course, you don't need to thank us." And Tibbs is like, "Oh man, it would have been nice though." So there's a little acknowledgement there. They do thank Tibbs a little bit, but Colonel kind of speaks up on his behalf to say that, oh, there's no need to thank us or repay us. It's all in the line of duty. And Tibbs is a little like, about it. So they do kind of thank him a little bit. But the journey isn't over when they thank them. Like, they did their part, and now it's about, bringing the puppies all the way back to the city. And so they sort of disappear from the plot at that point. They have served their uh, purpose and they have fulfilled their duty. So they get a little thank you, but not like an ultimate thank you in the end because they aren't there for the very end of it. Anyway, while you were gone,
Yeah.
I mentioned that they do kind of thank Tibbs and the Colonel.
Oh, what? Yeah. What are they? They just kind of
Well,
give
at
him
one point,
like a little like.
well, they say, "Thank you, Sergeant, Colonel, Captain. Bless you
Oh,
all. How can we ever repay you?" And then the
well,
Colonel says, "Oh, nothing at all in the line of duty."
oh. Well, okay, then. Okay, hold on, Kyle. They definitely thank the cat. Like, they definitely
Yeah, but
thank.
and then the funny, and I said this already, but I'll repeat it for you. Is the funny thing is that the Colonel is like, "Oh, there's no need to thank or repay us. It's all in the line of duty." And Tibbs is like, "Yeah, I guess so." He's a little like,
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
guess if, I feel like I did all the work, but sure, if you wanna."
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
take it from here. Keep going with the plot for a second.
Okay. Well, I'm so where are you at? Are we just at the point where they've
Well, they
rescued
have
them, or
to.
like they have to go in?
No, we jumped ahead a little bit, but they're taking the long journey to get there, and then Cruella comes and tells them that, like, it's time to do what we're here to do. This is the sort of the
Oh yeah,
reveal.
there's too much heat on them at this point. Yeah,
Yes.
I think she comes in. She's like, no, you got to get it done because they're closing in, or like she's feeling like it can only last so much longer if they don't take care of it now. And they of course they're like, can't we just wait until the show is over? Like we can't we just we want to watch TV. She's not having it, so they being the bad employees that they are, they basically go after she leaves, they kind of say like, we'll do it when we're good and ready, right? And so as the clock, like the literal clock, is ticking down on the show, which is a good little motif being employed here. The cat has to get the puppies out of smuggle them out of the room through a hole in the wall, and the fat one gets stuck at the end because he can't fit. He's the last. Like it was smart of the cat to put him as the last in line, but it takes a little while. And the Jasper and Horace are arguing then over who's gonna skin them and who's gonna kill them, because that's there's 99 of them. That's a lot of work to do.
I can't even imagine how much work that would actually be. You have
fucking
like, I mean,
awesome.
these are bad guys, right? But still, they have to go to 99 puppies and beat them all over the head until they're dead one by one, and then skin them all. Jesus Christ. That would take forever. Like, I was
Yeah.
watching this show. I don't know if you've ever seen any of it. It's called Alone. It's a survival show where, like, people, I think 10 contestants are dropped in remote locations, Alaska, Canada, somewhere like that. And we have to survive the winter all by themselves, right? And so every once in a while, someone on that show will kill like a muskox or a moose or some huge animal like that, right?
Jesus. Wait, really? Like,
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind of impressive,
Oh,
actually.
dude, it's a really cool show. I really recommend it if you like that sort of thing. Um, yeah, so this one guy in a recent season we watched killed a moose, right? And then he had to process the moose, and that took like 2 days. You know what I mean? Like that's it's
Yeah.
so much work to actually do. And I don't think these guys really understand how much work skinning 99 puppies actually is. Like, you're
Yeah.
gonna be there a long time. I don't know if you have to be kind of a psycho to have that in you, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. They signed up for the money. I don't know if they're gonna like.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I'd have it in me. I don't know how much
I know
money.
I wouldn't have it in me. I don't think I could kill one, let alone kill and skin 99 of them. I think
But they
that
are, as you mentioned, arguing over who's going to do the bonking and who's going to do the skinning because there's definitely an imbalance there in how much emotional labor is involved, I suppose you could say.
yeah.
So they're arguing about it and they're watching their show. And meanwhile, the cat is sort of, like you said, he's leading all the other dogs out. And of course, once again, this happens like 7 times in the movie where like their plans are almost ruined by the fact that Rolly is slow and fat. It's like, dude, stop. You're fucking everything up for everyone, Rolly. I hate Rolly. I hate Rolly so much.
The
Anyway,
British fat shaming continues. Somebody mentioned that like British authors really hate fat kids and fat characters. As like it's funny because I watched Harry Potter again a little while ago, and like the way that that Dudley Dursley, I started like rereading the book just for fun in my spare time, like the kid's book. And it's funny that the way Dudley Dursley is evil and is like a nasty little brat is because he's wider than he is tall. Is how she describes it, which is like, yeah, fat equals bad, is
yeah,
yeah.
yep, true. Fact check, true. Anyway,
Lord of the
so
Flies,
that
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and Harry Potter all punish the fat kid. Lord of the Flies punishes the fat kid, but the fat kid is like kind of cast in the light of like the reasonable one, isn't he? Like he's the one who tries to retain the humanity, like, and that's why he's killed.
I can't.
I'm pretty sure. He's like, so that one's a little more generous, but they are relentlessly mean to him. So
So that this leads them eventually the thieves realize what is happening, and this leads them on a chase all through the different rooms of the house. Eventually, basically because Rolly keeps fucking it up, they end up back in the same room that they started in. Uh-oh. But thankfully, Pongo and Perdita have arrived just in time, and they break through the window, and then they attack Jasper and Horace. And I like how like mean and aggressive Pongo and Perdita's like designs get when they need to be. It's really nice. And then they're like when they're like right in front of the fire and everything like that. It's great. Like the sort of like righteous anger moment that they have. It's great. And so they attack Horace and Jasper and like get a couple good bites in. It's pretty
yeah,
satisfying.
it's pretty badass when they jump through there,
Oh
through the
yeah.
window and everything. I'm like, this is gonna be like, it's gonna be very satisfying to watch these dogs like rip these two, like rip them
Oh,
to
and right
shreds like
before that,
Cruella's parents.
yeah. Oh god. And I like how basically it's the same room they were in before, essentially, but like now that it's a more extreme situation, like it's cast in more of a red light now. It's just fun little stylistic lighting cues like that I really appreciate in these movies. You know what I mean? Because nothing has really changed about the room except that the tension is higher now. So now it's more red. There's a red cast over everything. I think it's pretty
Yeah,
cool. And so there's a really good bite in there. I love gosh, the animation is really good. So I'm just gonna keep spamming you with great shots.
let's
So
do it.
Pongo gets a really good bite on I can't remember if it was Jasper or
It's what
Horace.
I think it's the fat one, isn't it?
Right on the bum. Right on the bum. That
Right in
looks
the head and ass.
pretty I think it's the tall one, I think. Anyway, so while they're attacking the thieves, the colonel is, leading all the rest of the puppies out of the room to safety. The short one is the one whose like pants get pulled and then he falls backwards into the
Oh
fire.
yes, yeah, good.
That's great. And his face turns like bright red. It's great.
Classic Disney stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of Mickey Mousing on the walking in this sequence
Sure.
as well.
Yeah.
Really sticking with their bread and butter.
Oh, it's really good. I really like so the Mickey Mouse thing. being that like music cues matching up perfectly with like actions as they happen on screen, right? I was critical of it in Peter Pan because they do it for literally everything in the entire
Yes,
movie.
yes,
Um, this movie, I was thinking about it because I had that criticism of Peter Pan. So when I was watching this movie, I did notice that they do it's I think it's a better balance, right? Where like there are certain key moments where a little action on screen matches a little, clarinet flourish or like a big, like right on the bite, I'm sure there's a big like cymbal crash kind of thing. You know what I mean? But there are a lot of things that aren't like synced perfectly to the music in the movie. So I think it's a nice balance, right? I always think of like the perfect balance of that sort of thing is like The Shining, like for
yes.
example, the shot that always comes to mind, but there are several you could pick from is like when Danny is riding away from the camera down the hallway on his little tricycle, and then there's a big music sting and nothing happens. And it's just like, oh, that's kind of surprising. And then he rounds the corner and he rounds the corner again, and there are the girls at the end of the hallway. And then there's another big music sting. So like the first one happens just to like keep you on your toes, even though it doesn't actually match anything, and then the second one happens right on the action. So like you get a little balance, a little mixture of both. I think this movie does a really good job of that because if the music never lines up with what's happening on screen, it feels disconnected. And if we're Mickey Mousing every single detail that happens, it can get pretty like tedious and
Yeah.
obnoxious. And so you got to be careful with that balance. You got to find out which moments really need it and which ones don't. I think most of these classic Disney movies do a really good job with that.
Yeah, I agree. I think they strike. I think this one in particular strikes a really good balance of making it noticeable when it's necessary, but then not continuing it all the way through. Right. Like, I think that's a pretty good one. Real quick, I'm gonna get a screenshot of when they are closing in on the puppies and Mr. Tibbs, Sergeant Tibbs, I should say. Give him his proper title. Because I really like the way that they like the color scheme works here, like the Disney color theory kind of plays into this. I
Oh
think this
yeah.
is because this is very stylized. It's out like the room isn't red when we see it earlier, but
Yes.
in this moment, um, when it seems like it's all about to come to a harsh and bitter end for them, uh, the color changes to make this like sort of this very bright, like candy apple blood red kind of thing, like a
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino movie, right? Yeah, and I love the cat like putting them all behind his arms,
Yeah.
like being like, no, no, get behind me. I'll keep them. Yeah,
Tibbs is great. Probably worth mentioning that like this is one of I couldn't remember if there was another one. Please, if you remember in the chat, let me know. Is this the first heroic cat character in a Disney movie? Because most of them
oh
have
yeah,
been
wait a
evil
minute.
so
Most of
far.
them have been Asian.
I think statistically, maybe most of them actually have been Asian. But I'm thinking of like the evil cat in Cinderella, obviously. That's a mean evil character. And then the Siamese trickster, malevolent liar cats in Lady and the Tramp. They're not very nice either. Um
Oh, the cat in Pinocchio. He's okay.
oh right. No, he's a good one. He's mostly incidental to the story. But he was fine. He seemed like, just kind of like a sort of morally ambiguous brother sister type character, you know.
Yeah, not trying to like eat the goldfish or anything. He's.
Wait, doesn't he try to eat the goldfish? Can't remember
I
right now.
can't. I don't remember if he does or not. Like I can't tell if I'm confusing that with the Siamese cats in Lady and the Tramp, because they try to eat the fish in the bowl.
Yeah, they're blurring together a little bit for me.
Yeah,
The cat who is buddies with the dickhead fox. Yeah, there's a cat in Pinocchio that like the sort of human one that can talk. He's
Is-
not.
This
He's
cat is
not
a
good
race
though.
traitor. No, this cat has accepted cultural assimilation. He hasn't. He has not been convinced that it is actually a trick of the devil. Uh, he hasn't
Oh, he
watched enough
kisses. All right, he
Spike Lee
kisses the
movies.
goldfish. No, yeah, Figaro is nice. So
Yes.
Figaro is okay. Figaro is the first nice cat character. I think this is probably still the first heroic cat character
Yeah.
in a Disney
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
We like Tibbs. Tibbs is a real one.
Yeah. We're on board for Sergeant Tibbs.
Mm-hmm. So they managed to escape, thankfully. Hooray. And so they're in the barn hiding from the thieves, the barn where the horse, where the sergeant, the colonel, and the captain all live, right?
Yes.
And then right before like the thieves show up to escape, I think this is the scene where they're thanked for, for helping them, right? Where they get their little shout out we
We'll hold
mentioned
them off
earlier.
to the bitter end. The
Yeah, oh,
sheepdog
it's so
says.
good. It's so funny. I love that. I love the sort of like militaristic sense of duty that these characters have. It's great.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
this is the part where it sort of morphs into a great escape type, narrative of like getting like they have to sneak across the countryside with this seemingly daunting task of sneaking 100 puppies across the countryside,
oh yeah,
under the radar to make sure that they don't get caught. But it's snowing, so their tracks are all over the place, and it create
oh
like
yeah.
I really really like this part. This is such a
It's
great
good.
direction for it to go.
And there's so many great characters who are all like just trying to do the right thing and have their like sense of moral duty is like really strong. Like for example, Pongo and Perdita were only expecting to get their 15 puppies back, but they end up with 99, right? And so they're like, "Oh, what are we going to do with 99 puppies?" Like, "Well, we're going to save all of them, obviously." You know what I
Yes.
mean? Because it's the right thing to do. And then we have the colonel, the captain, and the sergeant who are like, we're gonna hold them off to the bitter end. And there's like great little visual gags where Tibbs is holding the ears of the horse and pulling them like, bomber levels. So you know what I mean? To kick the thieves. It's great. Levers, right? Not levels. Anyway, it's great. There's a lot of fun gags like that where they're being kicked and shot across the barn and all that sort of fun stuff. And they see the tracks, and that's how they're following them. And so they have to walk and slip and slide all over the frozen river to avoid, being caught. And the puppies are like having a really hard time of it, slipping and sliding and all that sort of fun stuff. A little bit like little reminiscent, little reminiscent of Bambi. That
Yeah.
little sequence.
When so they form a chain, of like holding on to each other's tails, and they can be
Mhm.
dragged across, which is like yeah, it's fun little visual gags. And then Cruella Deville the next morning, comes around to Horace and Jasper, who've been out looking all night, and she's furious with them for not having tracked them down yet. And we get this sequence of them like marching through the snow. They're tired, they're exhausted, they're
Yeah, it's a
frigid.
blizzard essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're doing a
And
head count. Ah,
trying to keep track of everyone, and then like a border collie comes by, like a very like noble border collie comes by, and he's like, "We found a place for you." I like it's almost like an underground railroad sort of thing happening here a little bit, where like everyone's like chipping in along the way. Like, here's a place to stay, you can hide,
yeah,
and all that sort of stuff. We're
yeah.
doing our part. And so he's like, there's a barn across the road. If you head there, place where you can sleep for the night. And so they sort of course correct and they head for the barn where we meet these cows that are nice enough to let them drink their milk, because they're all hungry. And there's a little fun little gag where one of them says like, "I'm hungry," and then Rolly says like, "I'm hungry too." And it's like, we know you were hungry
Yeah,
when you
really,
shouldn't.
Rolly, we couldn't
We
tell.
get it. But the cows are very kind and offer them
Like
their milk.
back in the day when Game of Thrones was good, there was the always the comments, right? Because one of the characters, Sam Tarley, he's a stand-in for George R.R. Martin, in that he's the one who likes to read, and he's also a big fat oaf. And apparently the actor who played him would get a lot of comments from people who'd just be like, you're living out in the wilderness, and basically like surviving off of rations. How are you still this fat? Shouldn't you not be fat anymore? And that's basically what we're asking
Good
Broly
question.
here, is like, what's going on? What's happening here? Where are you
When you watch
hiding the
a show
canine
like
crunchies?
Yeah, when you watch a show like Alone, you like, man, the toll it takes in terms of how much weight they lose, this is insane. Now that like a lot of contestants on Alone will gain weight on purpose before the competition starts because they know they're going to lose like 40 pounds.
Yeah, that's smart, actually.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good show. I really like it. If you want to watch the show Alone and you don't know where to start because there's like 14 seasons or whatever, season 7 is a particularly good one. So if you're only going to watch one season of that show, season
Okay.
7, great, really really good.
You kind of
Vegeta, after feeding 99 of them, is the last crusade crusade skeleton meme. That's funny. So they sleep for the night in the barn. They have a little bit of milk from the cows, who are very kind. And then they're making their way across the road, and Pongo like hears a car coming. He's like, "Uh-oh." So he tries to like wipe away the tracks because Pongo's a smart guy. He tries to wipe away the tracks, but he can only do so much before the car shows up. And lo and behold, the car is driven by Cruella Deville. Yeah, see, this is why I thought her car was purple, because basically in the entire back half of the movie, the lighting always makes it seem like it's purple. Anyway, um, she notices the tracks coming like to and from the little road, right? So she knows that they're nearby, and so she goes chasing after them. They're not too far from a village. It's not the main city yet, but a small sort of
Yeah,
village
it's a
along the way.
village called Dinsford. I
Dinsford.
like how she cuts
Yeah.
them off. Like
Yes.
she's not doing a lot for women drivers in this movie.
No, there's even a joke about it.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, at the end, the guy crazy women drivers, when she like almost runs him off the road.
Yeah. It's very funny. It's
Comes
very
out of
funny.
nowhere for me at this point. Like, yeah, this is, yeah, I love it. So she's
Yeah,
like
fat shaming.
this is maybe the first
Fat shaming and making
Asian
fun of
character,
women drivers.
first Asian
So,
villain in Disney history.
we have the cats. What are you talking about, Hugh?
Yeah, this one wants to skin dogs and can't drive. Like an H Mart parking lot.
So we've arrived at a village, and meanwhile, there's a black lab who is, helping out the Dalmatians. Like, here, you can come stay in here, and we've set up a vehicle that can take you from here, so you don't have to walk the rest of the way to London. But the vehicle's going to leave shortly, so you got to be careful. But before they can run out and hop onto the back of the van, or the truck rather, Cruella Deville and her little minions have arrived, and they're sort of scouring all the alleyways and streets of this village. And so what are they going to do? They're not going to be able to get all 99, or I guess in this case 101, including uh, Pongo and Perdita, onto the truck without being seen. But two of the puppies are playing and get caught in the soot. And I like they have like a yin yang thing about them. Like one of them, only his back half is covered in soot, and the other one, his front half is covered in soot. It's pretty fun. And so Pongo has the brilliant idea, because he's a smart lad, that yeah, her face as she's looking in the windows. It's
Yeah.
great. But Pongo has the bright idea. Oh, well, everyone will we'll cover all the dogs in soot, so then they'll look like Labradors. And so, one by one, he forces all the puppies, including himself and Perdita, to cover themselves completely in soot so that they look like black labs. And what's funny about that to me is like, okay, imagine you're Cruella Deville, right? And you're looking for 99 Dalmatian puppies. And you, and you see like dozens and dozens of black labs instead. You might be like, huh, wait a minute. What's that about? That's a lot of puppies.
Yeah, that's wait, something's not right. But no, she sees that and goes like, no, I don't want the black ones. Yeah,
So
I
they're
love
all
the I
covered in
love
soot, and
the like the way that they set it up. Like, so they're looking at the truck, right? And then she drives past the window. She does this a couple times, because she comes back around and does the same thing, makes the same face the opposite
oh yeah,
way.
yeah.
So like they're setting up the parameters of your stealth mission here.
Exactly. And so they have to sneak maybe like a dozen or so at a time onto the truck, and there's a sort of ticking clock because the truck is going to leave any second. Oh no, we're running out of time. And then it gets to the point where the truck's about to leave, so they kind of have to go for it right when Cruella and Jasper and Horace are looking, and they see a bunch of the puppies, and she's like, "Huh, that's a suspicious amount of puppies. They're all black, but that something's off here." And then like melting ice water from like the gutters kind of splash onto the puppies and reveal that they are in fact Dalmatians instead. And she's like, "Aha!" She's not very smart, Cruella, but that's fine. It's all the
Look,
heroin and lack of
it's the
eating, I think.
heroin, the lack of eating. It's the and some Dalmatians killed her parents, so she never had to go to school.
Jay Jameson says her base level of hatred is sort of impressive in a way. Yeah, like she is so committed to being evil, you have to respect it. It's a little
Well, with
bit
a
like
name like Cruella Deville, I feel like you're kind of locked in. Like,
she loves being evil the way Palpatine loves being evil. You know what I mean?
yes.
She's in it for the love of the game. And so, they just barely managed to get on the back of the truck, but they've been discovered. So now Cruella is chasing after the truck in her giant long car, and like she gets run off the road into a ditch but manages to drive her way all the way back up on the other side out of pure hatred. There's no other good way of
The
describing
only way of fueling that kind of maneuver.
it's through pure unadulterated hatred.
She would be
um
unironically, she would have been a great like Fast and Furious villain at some point
oh
in the
yeah.
franchise. Like, we
Oh,
could, we could
how
still
funny
get.
would that would be? Like, because their villains are often like trying to destroy the world at this point. How funny would it be if they went back to like, oh man, there's this woman who wants to kill a bunch of puppies. We can't allow that to happen. We got to drive her off the road with our cars. The only way to stop her.
That would have, yeah, that would be
Um,
pretty fucking fun.
so she's chasing after the truck, and at one point she gets like right next to it, and they're like going over like this very small, this very narrow pass, and she's almost driving it off the road. And the driver goes like calls her a lunatic. Hold on, I want to get the exact quote right because it's funny. He's like, "Hey lady, what in thunder are you trying to do?" And then she like hits him one more time. He's like, "Crazy woman driver."
Got
It's
him.
great.
Oh my god,
Got
yeah.
him.
The scene where she like come. Oh yeah, hold on. Let me get her eyes as she's like fueling this, like as she's like willing this car to like, yeah, to just defy logic
Physics. Yes.
and make it up the snow covered like hillside.
Yeah.
These are great.
There's a particular shot. I don't know if you're gonna put it on screen. Oh, that's a great one. And then there's one right before she crashes into the car and like ends up, you know, wrecking both herself and Jasper and Horace into a ditch. There's a close-up shot of her. I will show it to you. It's pretty spectacular.
Yeah,
It's probably
that's
like quintessential, like pure evil hatred that you almost have to respect it,
oh
as you
god, yeah,
said
that's
already.
amazing. That's a
Kevo says it would be so bitchin' to have 101 dogs. That's a lot of dogs. I like dogs. Don't get me wrong. That's a lot,
that's a
though.
lot of dogs. Yeah, I don't
That's
I don't know, man. I don't
I
think
don't
I have
know.
the
That's a
time.
lot
I don't think I have the time or the patience to deal
for the
with
end.
that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah, what a
George Rex says, I don't like the extended car chase where the dogs do nothing. I'd like Pongo to take some action to defeat her, not just escape because they're incompetent enough to smash themselves. I don't know if I agree with that because, and I'll tell you why. I think, first of all, Pongo doesn't do nothing in this sequence. There's a part where like she almost forces them off a cliff, and that sends the whole car, the whole truck tilting, and one of the puppies almost gets like launched over the cliff, but like Pongo jumps out and grabs it by the tail and pulls it back in. So he's doing things like that. Mainly, I think Pongo has done quite a bit to prove himself. Actually, no, sorry, it is Perdita at this point who like leans out and grabs the other puppy by the tail and pulls her back in. Sorry, that's not Pongo. But I think Pongo and Perdita have proven themselves, in terms of their heroics and their intelligence by this point. That I'm okay with the fact that Cruella is just so hell bent on just being evil and killing these puppies that it leads to her undoing. Like I think it's fine. I don't have any real problem with that because if I because Pongo and Perdita have had such an active role in making all of this happen. I feel like they've done it enough to prove themselves heroically. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't really bother me at all that like really her undoing here is that she's just fucking psychotic. Like she's committed. So it does look like that.
It does, yeah, it does. That's a good observation. I'm gonna put it up.
Yeah, she's got pointy elf ears.
Yeah, so Mr. Redhead in the chat was saying that she really does look like the white demon face of Pazuzu from The Exorcist, and you know what? I think he got a point. Slap that up there for you. A little side-by-side comparison. Maybe The Exorcist is actually a sequel. The spirit of Cruella de Vil became literally Pazuzu.
Gorgeous Rex says they could knock something out of the van that causes her to swerve, for example. Yeah, they could.
Yeah, okay, that could work.
Sure.
Yeah, I could see that.
That could work, and I would like that just fine. I don't really feel like what we got is lacking for me, but I can understand wanting it to be a bit more active on the dog's part. Grand Darkfang, thank you very much for another super chat. Says Pongo Perdita. Remember, this is the stealth mission. Remember the basics. CQ and stay hidden. It's good.
Yep.
I like all the stealth stuff in this movie. Like you said, it does have like a sort of prison break, Great Escape sort of feel to it. Fun. There's a fun, very stylish thing they do. I will, instead of showing you all of them, I will show you like the way they animate the crash itself when Cruella crashes into Jasper and Horace. Like these three stills side by side. Come on, show me the money. There it is. Their like use of color is very stylish.
Oh yeah.
These movies are really good about that. I think a lot of them feel very, very grounded for the most part, and then key moments they allow themselves to get real funky with it. Real jazzy. This feels like visual jazz to me, I would say.
Yeah, that's
it's
nice.
a cool way of showing the car crash, right? You can like, and also like there's still movement there. You can see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can see the telephone pole moves by. Really hip. Really hip
Yeah, that
stuff.
looks great.
Is it on screen?
It is.
There it is. Yeah. Pretty cool. So, and that is their undoing. Now, we're back with Roger and Anita, and they're preparing for Christmas or whatever. And they can't believe that Pongo, like it's Christmas, so they're trying to be happy and trying to put on a brave face and everything like that. But you can tell they're all kind of sad because not only did they lose those puppies, but Pongo and Perdita ran away. So they're kind of sad about it. And Roger is still kind of, baffled that they would run away. And I feel like there's a great line from oh right. So they're listening to Cruella de Vil being sung on the radio by some female singer. And so we learned that, like, Roger, after all, that's your first big hit. It's made more money than we've ever dreamed of. He said, yes, I know, but I still can't believe that Pongo and Purdy would run away. Right. So, and then Nanny comes in. She's like, here's a bit of Christmas cheer for you. If there's anything to be cheerful about. It's like, I just love, she's so funny. I like the Nanny character a lot. And she's like, oh, the dear little things. And she's sniffling. And she says, sometimes at night I can still hear them barking. but it always turns out that I'm dreaming, and you can hear barking, and the barking gets louder and louder. They're like, what on earth? And then like she hears the barking and she goes running over towards the door. And this is that moment where like her arms are flailing above her head. I just love her, like the way she runs. It's so goofy. And she opens the door and they're like, oh my gosh, they're Labradors. And then like so they get swarmed by a bunch of dogs and they're like, oh no, they're covered in soot. And we realize
and then
that it's
as
Bongo and
as, as
Perdita.
they count them, we get to see some of Roger's excellent arithmetic skills that cleared England's national debt completely. He's able to count and add up to 101 of all the dogs that came in. And his first thought is like, damn, Pongo. Nice. He's like, you old rascal. Like, yeah, okay. That's great.
I'm trying to figure out exactly what he says. So they're counting. They're like, oh my God, a Christmas miracle. And he says, 101. Where did they come from? Oh, Pongo, you old rascal. Exactly. What do we do with them? He says, we'll keep them. She's like, in this little house? He's like, we'll buy a big place in the country. We'll have a plantation, a Dalmatian plantation. And then they start speaking in rhymes just because it's fun.
Yes.
Like, Roger, that's truly an inspiration. It'll be a sensation. We'll have a Dalmatian plantation. A Dalmatian plantation, I say. And then he starts singing a little song about it.
Yep, and he says, we'll have got a second big hit. So look at that. It's clear.
We'll have a Dalmatian plantation where a population can roam. And then Rolly says, I'm hungry. And it's like, shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut up, Rolly. You're ruining the moment. And I one of the things I really like about this little reunion scene is that they're getting soot everywhere, but they just don't care because they're so happy. It's really fun. It's really charming. It's great. And so they're hugging or whatever, and the dogs are everywhere, and they're all like smiling and all that sort of stuff. And then we can go back to the intro screen because that's for that moment. And I want to look at the little face.
It kind of ties into yeah. Well, you mean the intro screen of the stream? Yeah. But the intro of the movie kind of ties into the ending card because at the end, they're singing and all the dogs are barking and howling along, right? And then more dogs start barking, and then all the lights in the city start turning on one by one, which is mirroring, what was happening in the opening title sequence, where like a bunch of spots were popping up and like Dalmatians were jumping up out of anywhere, which is just a nice way to tie it all together. I think it's pretty damn good.
It's a Christmas miracle, and it's a small little tiny thing, but like it's Christmas. But like they're kind of sad, and they've gone through this whole ordeal and they've had great loss. But then they reunite at the end, and like the sort of light enters into the darkness again, and then we end with a final shot of like the lights in the city all coming on and sort of light entering the world at the darkest moment again. But nice Christmas symbolism.
Yes,
good stuff. We love to see it. And that, in a nutshell, is 101 Dalmatians. It's a lovely little movie. I really like it. It's charming. It's very nostalgic for me. This is definitely one that I watched a lot as a kid. I hadn't seen it in years, but like dozens of times as a kid, no doubt.
Yep.
Canine crunchies. Anyway, it's fun. It's charming. It has basically all the things you could want from a classic Disney movie and some new stylistic flair to keep things interesting, right? It's got a very simple, effective, heroic story about likable characters and this sort of kind of horrible situation trying to survive and try to reunite with their family and all that sort of stuff. We have some like not as many good songs as some of the previous movies. I think if there's one thing that's lacking about this movie, it's that like maybe the music isn't as prominent. Which it's still good, the music that we get, but I definitely think some of the songs, and something like Pinocchio or Snow White and Cinderella, I feel like they have more memorable songs than this.
Yes, well, there's one. There's like one song and a half. Somebody said to in the chat. It was like, there's Dalmatian Plantation and Cruella de Vil, basically.
In terms of the actual songs, but there's a main theme that I quite like a lot. I don't think it ever gets words, or maybe I'm just misremembering. But like, I just think the music isn't quite as prominent in this one, which is, it's fine. It works.
That's fine.
It's good. But I think it has basically everything else you want. It has cute animals doing cute things. It has very likable characters. It's very wholesome and family oriented, and sort of affirms the values of sort of normal family, morality and all that sort of stuff. It's got a nice little bit of like nostalgia to it. The character design is incredible. They're very expressive. The art style is unique in the sort of, uh, collection of Disney movies that have come out so far. It stands apart as being kind of cool and hip and modern. But looking back on it, with decades having passed since, it still has a kind of old-fashioned nostalgic feel that is very fun to watch. It's a very pretty movie, I think, in general. There's a lot of great action sequences and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot to love about this movie.
It's got a great villain.
Oh yeah,
maybe one of the best in Disney history. Yeah,
iconic, just evil for the sake of being evil. She just wants to kill a bunch of puppies because she loves furs that much.
Yes, there's no need to expand upon it anymore.
No, there's no need to try and justify that just because she's a woman. Stop that, please.
I know Maleficent gave you some ideas, but let's pull back. You already went with one version of literal Satan, so maybe we don't do a second one. How about that?
Since we're gonna get into the rankings part, Defrosted Robot has said Song of the South over Bambi and Fantasia's got to be some kind of hot take. No, not if you've seen the movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you. God, wait until you see mine, where it places on my list.
Song of the South is a better story than Bambi, that's for sure. The story of Bambi is the weakest part. The animation of Bambi, I think, is probably better than Song of the South.
There is no story in Fantasia, so
I think Fantasia kind of sucks, honestly. It's not like the music is even especially all that good, because they're not even especially great renditions of those classical pieces. Call me a snob or whatever, but I think they're rather sleepy and uninspired. So no, I don't think there's really much to like about Fantasia aside from The Sorcerer's Apprentice, which is fine as a short film, but it's not worth watching the whole movie for. Bambi is beautifully animated, but the story is really lacking in my opinion, and I'm a story guy. I like stories. Song of the South has a better story, for sure. Song of the South is much maligned, but does not deserve it at all. And it's a shame that it has had the sort of like fate in the sort of popular consensus and opinion that it has. I think it is a good movie. And that's what I have to say about that.
I would, our stream on Song of the South, controversial as it may be, I think sums that up pretty succinctly. We talked a lot about it, and I think if you haven't checked it out, you should, because I think that it's worth watching. You can watch it for free, because Disney does not care about this movie. They are never going to own it. They will allow it to slip into the public domain, no problem. And it is available right now on archive.org. The Internet Archive website, the Library of Congress website. You can just download it for free, and I would recommend doing it.
Let me remind you, Jamie, again about centaurs. Yes, who could forget the minstrel show centaurs in Fantasia? Easily more racist than anything in Song of the South.
Easily, by a country mile, yes.
By a country mile.
Wasserman also asked, did we talk about the child voice actor for Rolly? And we didn't. I'm not super familiar with who it was. Apparently, it was a young woman, a girl.
Barbara Baird.
Yeah, Barbara Baird. I
think he's probably just talking about the performance itself.
Yeah, I guess that could be.
Rolly is annoying. I don't know if it's really the voice so much as just what Rolly says and does.
Yeah. It's more just the character. Like, Jamie hates fat people. That's basically the takeaway.
He is really annoying. It's not unbelievable, but he is annoying, and I am playing up my hatred and annoyance at him for laughs.
Yes.
But he is annoying.
And here's an interesting thing, though, because I googled this after Wasserman asked this question, and one of the questions that Google has been asked apparently quite a bit is Rolly from 101 Dalmatians a girl? And the answer is, as with all the males in the original 15 Dalmatian puppies, Rolly wears a red collar in the film and in
Mhm.
the direct to VHS sequel. But in the TV series, he wears a blue collar like the female dogs.
Mhm.
So I don't know what they were
Well, who
trying.
cares about the TV show?
Yeah,
That's
the
boy.
TV show sounds like trans propaganda to me.
They've gone woke. No.
Of
Yeah,
course, of
no,
course, the
I
fat one who
really
constantly wants to eat is the one who goes through the transition, evidently.
really always occurred to me as a boy. It just voice actor aside. Anyway,
Anyway, I've got your ranking list up here.
Broke Singer's woke song of the South. Yes. Yes. 100%. I would describe Song of the South as bespoke and not woke, but that's all right. You got my ranking. All right, here we go. Where am I putting 101 Dalmatians? Let me think about it for a second. It's we'll work up. It's definitely better than Dumbo. Is it better than Lady and the Tramp? Hmm.
That's a good question.
That's tricky. I can't get it. I can't put it higher than like Sleeping Beauty and Snow White and Cinderella. I don't think.
Yeah.
Because I do really like it, but those stories are are special in my opinion. And Pinocchio's still number one for me at the moment. So it's between this and Lady and the Tramp. God, that's tricky.
Yeah. That's a tough one, man.
That is. Oh, that's tough. Okay, so let me just think out loud for a minute. So, Lady and the Tramp has a really great sort of like love story to it, and I think there's more character work in Lady and the Tramp, though the character arc for Tramp at the very end, we both agreed is like a little rushed.
Yes. Just
Not
a bit.
terrible, but just a little rushed. But there's certainly more character work being done, and I like that sort of thing. Um, I like the way Lady and the Tramp looks a bit better, so we'll give it that edge. Um, oh, that's tough. I'm gonna give the slight edge to Lady and the Tramp and put 101 Dalmatians at 6.
All right.
That's what my gut tells me right now.
That sounds fair to me, I think. We'll
Yeah, I just
adjust
think
these
there's
numbers.
more that leaps out at me as being like memorable and I don't know. Yeah, cause oh man, but I really like Cruella Deville
Yeah.
and all that. And Pongo's great, but Tramp's great too. And Tramp has more of like an arc where he has to sort of like learn the value of
Yes.
family and civilization and all that sort of stuff. Whereas Pongo is just always good
Yeah.
from the get go.
He gets
This is
his owner
more
laid. He,
yeah, this
you know,
he saves the children, not just his children, but other children as well. But it's never really a question. The characters in Lady and the Tramp that aren't the evil ones are just all good, which
yes.
is nice. We don't really get a lot of stuff like that anymore. So I'd say that's refreshing. But I think there's more meat on the bones of a story like Lady and the Tramp that involves people like, learning lessons and becoming better people. So I'm gonna go with Lady and the Tramp. Slight edge there. Oh, and how dare you abbreviate it as 101 Dalmatians? That is the name of the 90s live action movie. This one is spelled out,
Oh,
you silly goose. And I demand.
forgive me.
Lady and the Tramp is prettier. Yeah, I said that too. I agree. I think it's more lovely to look at. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
and
I
there's more racist caricatures, so I'm gonna give it the
Yeah, all
edge.
we get in this is like some half-assed blackface. I
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
they can do better than that.
Yeah. We could have had one of them. We could have had one of them maybe, making doing like a minstrel voice or something, yeah. All right, time for my
Yes, officially on the poster, and then the name of the movie is spelled out. But I think in some advertisements for the original movie, they use 101.
Yeah,
Anyway,
time for mine. I've pulled my rankings up here. Where does it fall on mine? Now, I
fat
don't.
shaming is pretty good. That is a point for this movie. Anyway, sorry,
Yes,
we're on to
no,
you
that's
now.
true.
I haven't
Yeah, I agree.
Hugh Disney ranking.
Yes, I have
I
Jamie
forgot
Disney
how
ranking and Hugh Disney ranking. Yeah,
I
it's very
forgot how
different.
wrong I forgot how wrong yours was.
Yeah,
No, I'm
exactly.
just kidding. All right, where are you putting it?
Okay. See, this is where I need to. Hmm. I don't. I do love this movie. I don't know if I can put it above Pinocchio, Snow White, or Cinderella. I think I've got to put it like in between Cinderella and Song of the South here. Because
Okay.
Lady and the Tramp, I agree on all points. Lady and the Tramp, I think, is a stronger narrative. It's a stronger
hmm
hero's story. It's prettier to look at. Might be a little bit rushed at the end, but there's also there's also racist Chinese cats. So I am always here for that. Um,
They're Thai.
yeah,
They're Siamese, you silly goose.
and Sleeping Beauty, just like I mean, Sleeping Beauty, just like that's a pretty much a perfect medieval kind of knight's tale, basically.
Yeah.
Um, I might have to. I might have to bump Song of the South down on this list, actually, now that I'm thinking about, like, now that I'm considering it more, I might, I think I'm gonna, okay, here's what we're gonna do.
What are we gonna do? Tell me.
101 Dalmatians goes at behind Cinderella.
Okay.
And then we're gonna move Song of the South down one and Alice in Wonderland up one.
We're asked if why other short film collections weren't included.
Like
I
which
believe that
ones are we talking about? Hold on.
I assume that is they're talking about like the Ichabod Crane, another one. But
Oh,
were those
yeah.
theatrical?
I don't know if the Ichabod Crane, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad was released theatrical, actually. I didn't see that on there. And I like mainly the reason is because the wartime era is a little difficult to navigate with because a lot of that was released, obviously it was theatrically released, but a lot of that is like propaganda films or like
So basically,
the Saludos tourism brochures, like Saludos Amigos and Three Caballeros for
yeah.
different advertisements for Brazil, essentially. Um, we could maybe double back and do an Ichabod Crane and Mr. Toad one. I have not.
Now, see, okay, so in general, what we're trying to do here is theatrically released 2D animated feature films,
Yes.
right? So, we didn't do the Ichabod Crane and Mr. Toad one because that is a collection of two shorter films instead of just one film. Now, and also, I don't know if that was released theatrically. Um,
It
and
was.
then,
It says it was
okay.
released by RKO Radio Pictures. I don't remember why I did not include this one on the overall list.
And then the Three Caballeros you said was just like, was that the one that was just tourism
Yeah,
stuff?
Saludos Amigos and Three Caballeros is basically just a tourism brochure advertising, like, hey, here's stuff about Mexican culture, here's stuff about Argentinian and Brazilian culture. So that's like
Mhm.
those just don't have a lot going. I did watch them, but those don't have a lot going for them, so I decided against having you watch them so that we could discuss them. Like it's
Yeah.
basically just Donald Duck getting into misadventures in a bunch of different places. We included Song of the South because neither of us had seen it and we wanted to see with our own eyes how truly racist it was.
What the
Um,
fuss was all about. And also, we didn't know that that was only going to be like half animated
yeah, because we
when we
hadn't
watched
seen it. We didn't
and
know.
because now that we know that, we are also going to include, what's it called?
Mary
Uh,
Poppins.
Mary Poppins, that's the one. So, We're a little bit figuring this out as we go, all right? But basically what we're after primarily are the mainline theatrically released Disney movies that are like one thing, like one story.
Fantasia we did because that one was like Walt Disney considered that at the time of its creation his magnum opus. He was very, very proud of having done it. So it is a collection of short stories, but he wanted it to feel as like basically like you were watching an animated
symphonic
an animated symphony, right? Like a curated symphony. So we went with that one because it is all like right before World War II breaks out. And it was like the failure of Fantasia is one of the reasons why he pivoted back to Dumbo and Bambi to try to make some money, because it ended up being pretty doing pretty piss poor numbers for him. But the Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, I think that just was an oversight on my part. I didn't even like. I
suppose since we did do Fantasia, we could do that those are two short films.
Yeah, we could probably just like do a quick catch up on that for especially since it's got Bing Crosby narrating it. We might as well. That's always a good time.
I like Bing Crosby.
And we are going to do The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh from 1977, which is another package film. There's my. But either way, that's why that's not on there, and then that's my updated list. I'll bump Alice.
Oh, okay. Let me see it. So you put 101 Dalmatians at number 7, also, right? We both have it at 7.
We both have it at 7. My order is very heavily influenced by nostalgia factor for Peter Pan being up there. But
so you move Song of the South below Alice in Wonderland. I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
And the reason Dumbo is below Song of the South here is mostly just because I would rather rewatch Song of the South than Dumbo at this point. Like,
fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair.
Not that I dislike Dumbo. I think Dumbo is a wonderful little movie, but I enjoyed Song of the South a little bit.
So I don't know if it will be the next stream we do, but what is the next thing on the list?
Well, I've got the next thing on the list, since we're getting started in October, I have from the last time we did this.
Wait, okay. So what I'm asking is, what's the next one in this arc?
Oh, in this arc would be, is it Sword in the Stone next? Yes, it would be Sword in the Stone.
All right. Yes. Sword in the Stone. So that is not the next stream we will do, but I am looking forward to that because I feel like I watched that like once as a kid and liked it, but I haven't seen it in a bajillion years.
I can't even remember if I've ever seen it, so I'm very excited to check that out.
Okay, and then so it sounds like you know what we're talking about next week.
I'm about to find out. So those of you who've been around for a while will maybe remember that a couple Octobers ago, or maybe even last October, there was a little set of horror movie cards or spooky movie cards set up for me by my girlfriend. These were all pre-approved by Jamie as movies that he had either been meaning to watch and talk about, or ones that he likes and would like to talk about again. I have the last 3 of those. We never made it through all of them, so I have the last 3 of them here in front of me, and I'm going to pick one at random that will decide what we do next week.
And that next week will be the first stream of Spooktober.
Yes,
hooray!
It will.
All right, so drum roll or something. I think there's a drum roll sound effect. Hold on. Do. Close enough.
All right, we'll go right here. Death Becomes Her.
Death Becomes Her. Oh my goodness.
I have never seen this movie.
Oh, it's wild.
Perfect.
It is a Robert Zemeckis movie with Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn, Bruce Willis, Isabella Rossellini, and others. It is wacky as hell.
Beautiful.
Very formalistic, I guess you could say. So that'll be. Is that even a horror film? It is close enough.
Yeah.
It is a.
It has the word death in the title. What more could you possibly want?
Come on, bro. It is macabre. We'll say that. Anyway, so cool. We'll talk about that. That I'm excited because that is a bizarre movie, and I think it'll be fun to talk about.
Hell yeah.
The other thing is that I feel like I probably will have to watch One Battle After Another.
Oh boy.
So maybe not next week, but the week after that. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But anyway, anything else you wanted to say about 101 Doggos?
Nope. I think we're good. I think we've got the whole thing. Solid little movie. 101 battles after another.
There you go. Tied it all together. Oh god, this guy's little face at the bottom is making me laugh.
Fucking great. Yeah. Is Corpse Bride in the pot? I think it was. Yeah, I think it is in there somewhere. Which that would be another interesting one. I have not seen that in forever. So
he looks like a Scooby-Doo character, doesn't he?
He does. He absolutely does.
Speaking of October, after your draw stream, I went on a Spielberg marathon, and I want to know if you guys think Spielberg secretly directed the movie Poltergeist. Well, I know he produced it, right? I don't think he secretly directed it. It definitely, feels like a Spielberg movie for sure. And I think but so does Gremlins in its own way, even though that was obviously directed by Christopher Columbus. Wait, am I blanking? It was Christopher Columbus, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
Chris. Sorry, he goes by Chris Columbus. Yes. Wait, no. Gremlins is Joe Dante, the first one.
Is it? I could have sworn it was.
Okay, it was written by Christopher Columbus. Chris Columbus, directed by Joe Dante. Okay. Anyway, Gremlins, Poltergeist, both movies produced by Steven Spielberg that very much feel like Spielberg movies, even though he didn't direct them. So I don't think he secretly directed Poltergeist, but it definitely has a lot of his isms in it. Poltergeist is Tobe Hooper, who did not really go on to have the most exciting career. Tobe Hooper.
I suppose that's short for Tobias, maybe, or Toby. He didn't want to just go by Toby though. That's
yeah. So his big thing is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then Poltergeist, and then beyond that,
nothing.
Not a whole lot, I guess you could say. Yes. Anyway, 101 Dalmatians. Great movie. Great little movie. I love going back and watching all these movies. It's a blast. It's always nice.
What? Do you like my my artwork so far in the
Wait, I'm not seeing it yet. Oh, there it is. Okay. Pretty good. Pretty good. You love to see it. That's good. Yeah, I just watching these movies is such a joy. I haven't there have been no weak links really other than
maybe Fantasia. Yeah.
Other than Fantasia.
And even still, we got something good out of it, right?
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean these are fun. These are great. And every time I watch one of these, I'm like, damn, we could be making animated movies like this, but we just choose not to for some reason.
Yeah, because we can just poop out Elio and
movies like that,
and then blame the audience for not liking it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Spielberg wrote Poltergeist, so that's why I assume. Yeah, he's definitely very involved in it. Definitely very involved.
Does he actually have a writing credit on that movie?
I think so. Let's go. Writers: Steven Spielberg, Michael Gray.
Wow, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a story by and a screenplay by credit. Interesting. I liked Poltergeist enough.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
okay. There's good stuff in it. It's not amazing though. I like that they use real skeletons for that scene. That's pretty spooky.
That's pretty metal, pretty hardcore.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre bidding war over the rights ended with A24 and Glenn Powell's production company buying it together, and they'll be making a mini series. I had not heard that. I knew it was like, that there was a bidding war happening over it. I didn't realize that A24 and Glenn Powell won.
Interesting.
An interesting choice. I know he's a big Texas guy, but I didn't know he would go after literally everything with Texas in the name. A Texas Chainsaw Massacre miniseries. Well, I don't have high hopes, but who knows? No reason it can't be good, I suppose. Wow, we did it. We got all the dogs.
We got all the dogs. They're all there. They're all covered. Now there's only 2 left.
Well, I guess we got to keep talking then while you do that. Oh, you know what I watched recently for the first time in years was Cars, Pixar's Cars.
Oh yeah.
You've seen Cars, right?
I've definitely seen it at some point.
Cars is good, but it is not great. I would say that it's like the first Pixar movie chronologically that was just pretty good and not an absolute banger. That's how I would describe it. Because Pixar films, for refreshing everyone's memories, it goes Toy Story, absolute banger. Bug's Life, absolute banger. Toy Story 2, banger. Monsters Inc., banger. Finding Nemo, I would describe as the best movie of all time. I love Finding Nemo with every fiber of my being. The Incredibles.
A Bug's Life gets a lot of flack.
Why?
I don't know. Because I remember
Bug's Life is
incredible.
Movie. Oh, it's great.
Yeah, I love that movie.
It's really good.
Even then, like right there, Defrosted Robot, A Bug's Life was the weakest before Cars.
That's a pretty high bar, I would say.
Yeah.
or is it a low bar in this case? Either way, Bug's Life is incredible. Very, very good. But Cars. Okay, so wait, we're on a roll here. So Toy Story, Bug's Life, Toy Story 2, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, all excellent movies, I would say.
That's
all varying degrees of excellent. Then Cars, which I just think is pretty good. Because after that we go back to Ratatouille, WALL-E, and then Up. I think Up is a step down from Cars, I would say. But man, those first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, absolutely stellar. And then 7 is Cars, 8 Ratatouille, 9 WALL-E. That's generational run.
Yeah.
And oh boy, has it been.
That's a dynasty. We call that a dynasty.
And then we go Up, which the first like 10 minutes of Up are really, really effective, but everything after that's just like, okay. Then Toy Story 3, which is not as good as 1 or 2, but it still has a lot of good stuff in it and ends in a really satisfying way. And then I didn't see Cars 2. Then Brave, Monsters University, Inside Out, The Good Dinosaur, Finding Dory, Cars 3, Coco, Incredibles 2, which is awful, Toy Story 4, which I've heard is awful, but I didn't see. Onward, Soul, Luca, Turning Red, Lightyear, Elemental, Inside Out 2, and Elio. We might be at the point now where they have more not good movies,
stinkers than hits.
Wouldn't that be unfortunate? But yeah.
I guess we would agree with Fringy. I haven't seen Cars in a real it's been a long fucking time.
What is Fringy?
Fringy says Cars is more consistent than Up. I have not seen Up since Up came out, and I have not seen Cars since Cars came out. So yeah, I would believe it. I trust Fringy's judgment. You
can trust my judgment too. I'm here.
Yeah, I guess if Jamie says.
No, yeah, Cars is more consistently good than Up. Up has some like high highs and lower lows, but and Cars, yeah, it's good. There's good stuff in it, but man, like they had some of the best animated movies of all time around it, so like it just by comparison, it's a little weak. But I like it. I like all the Cars. I was going to list more things, but I suppose I'll just leave it there.
All right. Well, that's 101 Dalmatians, everybody.
Yeah.
Have a good one. Good night. Have a good one.
Have a good one. Look at all those dogs on the screen. Look at all of them.
Look at them all.
Thanks for joining us. Thank you for the super chats. And we'll see you next week for Death Becomes Her. That'll be a wild time. So go check that out. I think there's a good chance that a lot of people in the chat have not seen Death Becomes Her. So make sure you watch it before we see you next Sunday.
We'll talk all about it next week. Can't wait. Very excited. Have a good.
Why would you stick around if you're talented? Oh, you're talking about the people at the left. Pixar. Yeah. That's the whole thing. Anyway, we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Toodles.
Hasta la vista. Sayonara. Bon voyage.